Hi, and thank you all for joining us today. We are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network.
Tune in to UFO Undercover, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, with your host, Joe Montaldo, right here on the Paranormal Radio Network.
I'm dying.
Don't die, man. Don't die.
Dying to death.
Hey. You're not allowed, man.
A lot of sickness going on. I'm not saying I'm sick, but a lot of people out there are sick, man. Like, COVID or flu or whatever the hell it is. Disease next.
No, Mike, it's Mike. No, we'll be live in a minute, sort of. Go Harris. Yeah, she was serving turkey yesterday. We'll talk about that in a second hour.
The only problem is it doesn't give me a counter when the song is over. It just says it's 2:54.
Well, we're gonna add it to a video so it clicks in with the rest of the system.
Yeah, so something with a counter so we know when we can.
We'll put it on there. Maybe we'll make a video of the Christmas parade. What's that? It's transferring. That's kind of weird.
I'm so happy I'm not using this anymore.
We may have to shorten this by about 30 seconds, I think.
Like 4 minutes.
I think it's 2 minutes 50. But I think we're going to shorten this.
As far as radio songs go, it's right in the limit that most.
Someone told this guy he was good. I don't know. I was a critic, man.
We'll see when we put when we add a video to it.
I couldn't believe some of the stuff people would send me. It pissed me off. Oh, they really want this reviewed?
I know.
I think this is the end.
Anyway, good evening, everyone, and welcome to News on the Flip Side. Sorry about all that chit chatter in the intro song. We're going to add a video to it. So when we add a video to it, it locks us out. So it doesn't matter if we're talking or not. Y'all can't hear us. Yep. But we're just it's something new. We're getting used to the intros. I mean, the promos are just something that's been going on for a while, and we've tried all kinds of stuff. I mean, we've had Metallica up here blasting people's eardrums out. We've had quite a few artists at this point.
we could also do like the promos, but with no one's audio, and just run that behind it. Just everyone do a placard like Lorelei had, and
Laura Lee's is badass, by the way. And by
yeah.
the way, people, the reason we're doing this is why? Because we were we were what this year? We were what runners up. You know what? You know what I told y'all all year. I'm going to bitch about this. See, John is a much more magnanimous person than I am. I'm not done with y'all. We're going to win next year. Or that's it. That is it. I'm going to put some voodoo spell on all you people. Send some crocodiles to your house tonight. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we have John Goodwin with us tonight, president of Galaxy Press. He's the gentleman over there that makes sure everything goes off without a hitch. He has come by to talk to us tonight. They kind of sponsor the Los Angeles Christmas parade, and we want to talk to him about that and what all goes into it. I know everybody involved in this is a workaholic, so I know it's got to always come off without a hitch. It's got to be great. I'm sure there's always got to be some issue somewhere, because that's anything big you do always has some kind of problems. But John, welcome to the show, man. How have you been?
Hey, Joe, doing good. We're Emily's not here. She wished she could be. She says hello, sends her love, but she's we're just running a million miles an hour, getting everything prepped for the Hollywood Christmas Parade. It's the 92nd annual. And our office, you've been here before, Joe. It's a 5-story building here right on Hollywood Boulevard. We're a block away from the Chinese Theater for a point of reference. We're sort of like across the street from the Roosevelt Hotel, and where they have the Oscars is about 50 yards further east of the Chinese Theater. So we're right here. And so we're the perfect place for the kickoff for the Hollywood Christmas Parade. On our 5-story building, our roof is where all those fancy supercars park up there. And they're convertibles. That's what carry the celebrities and the political figures throughout the 3.5 mile route. So we're on Hollywood Boulevard. So we start pretty much right in front of, like I said, the Chinese Theater, and then we go east on Hollywood Boulevard up to Vine Street, and then take Vine Street up to Sunset Boulevard, and then back down Sunset Boulevard to make like a U, and then it stops there almost opposite of where the parade started, and then they just come up a little street there. They come back into the up to the green room, but it's a 3.5 mile route, and it's the biggest single public event in Los Angeles every year. And so we're very excited about it, but there's just so many different moving pieces in it, because we'll have about 100 celebrities in our offices for that event. On the side of our building, we have a 160-foot red carpet for the step and repeat. And that's where we usually have about 200 media there that are just all kinds of, international media, national, all the big newswire services, entertainment.
Damn,
TV.
how do you handle all that, buddy?
We got a lot
These
of
guys
us.
are pros, man.
Yeah, we get lots of volunteers. We have people that have been, for most everybody, it's a labor of love, but we get people that have been working with us. We've been the green room for 14 years. So we have people that we've brought in, get volunteers that help out. And so they have their various hats down in what they do. So we get about half a dozen volunteers that handle the check-in of the media, checking in the celebrities as they come in. We have a lot of security, a whole lot of security to keep everything on the straight and narrow, and nobody coming in abusing and taking advantage of it. Because this is, you got these celebrities in Hollywood, it's just kind of Whackville anyway. And then it's just, we have people helping, like, without people in the green room, we get volunteers to help tend the bar. We have some of the biggest bakeries that bake amazing desserts and stuff. In-N-Out Burgers is they have a big truck that parks up, and so they're catering the green room. It's funny, we used to have, we get sushi chefs to come in, and we get, fancy, super fancy meals. And then one year we ran out, and so quick, let's scramble, because there's an In-N-Out somewhat close to us. So we went over there and bought 50 burgers, and they were gone like in In and Out. Oh my God. And so that was just like gone like instant. So we went and got 2 other In and Outs and got 100 burgers, and they were all gone. So then we wrote to the to In and Out, asked them, would you be willing to sponsor it? So they said yes. And so they've been doing it. This is the 3rd year, and it's just amazing. You got all these actors and actresses, oh no, I'm vegan, I'm this, I'm that, I don't eat this, I don't eat that. And then you say In and Out, In and Out, and then all of a sudden they're eating they're eating the burger, their cheeseburger, and it's just funny.
I'm thinking these In and Out burgers are fake. I've been out there like 10 times now. I still ain't seen one of these damn In and Out burgers, man. Y'all are messing with me. It's like the sand trout. I know what this is.
Yeah.
Oh,
man.
To me, it's just another hamburger. It sounds like to me. We don't have them here.
It's better than
we don't have them
McDonald's.
down here either. They
they don't freeze their meat, and
John been promising me for 5 years he's gonna get me when he lied to me, man. He's just a dog.
It's like Wendy's over
dog,
here.
Man, Joe, you're just building these things up here. It's when you realize when you come here, you're gonna have.
So last year I tried to steal one last year. Because he is right. I mean, what he was telling you is true. Because I noticed when we were leaving the gala, the whole crew back there, they was just covered in In-N-Out burgers. And I was gonna snatch me one, and then I said, "Oh, I feel bad. I might snatch somebody's dinner." Because I just ate a nice dinner inside.
Yeah, so he feels real bad after. Tell him what you had for dinner, Joe.
That's what I said. That's why I didn't snatch it.
Yeah,
I just had a really good.
Yeah, just amazing.
Inquiring minds want to know, Joe. What did you have?
We had what was it? We had
filet mignon and salmon.
Very nice, very well cooked. Really good food. A really nice dessert too. I mean, they take good care of you, I got to say. And still, I have not seen anybody pass out in 5 years. So I've been like, wow, I'm just waiting to see that. I haven't even seen anybody. These people when they get ready to go up on the stage. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about writersoffuture.com. This is totally different than what we were just talking about. But at the gala event, sometimes you just wait because these people are really nervous. I've been talking to them for like 2 weeks now, so I know a lot of them are nervous, but they still seem to get up there and get it done and get out there. And what I really appreciate, because we talked to a lot of them after the fact, is how appreciative they are. But anyway, guys, because we're actually talking about the parade.
So that came up because we were talking about that they're catering the parade. So we have that. We've got. It's for those of you who don't know about the Hollywood Christmas Parade. Our involvement with it was in 2008 when we launched our Stories from the Golden Age, which is a line of 153 books written by L. Ron Hubbard in 1930s and 40s. And mystery, suspense, westerns, science fiction, fantasy. So we had a big float. And we did the float for a couple of years. And then the parade was bought by Associated Television. And so we had a meeting, and they said, well, how would you like to be the green room? I said, sure. What does that mean? And so we went over and talked about how that would go and what we do. So we've been that. And so we put up a huge step and repeat banners, 160 feet long. The whole thing's red carpeted. And so we take care of that. We get Emily's one that handles that. We get hundreds of volunteers. People come back each year, but we get balloon wranglers because we have 9 of these helium balloons. They're like they go up like 5 stories. Which is one of the balloons we have too, is a big pirate. And so we have those, but there's marching bands, there's equestrians, there's really cool, all the cars, movie cars that you've seen in movies over the years. There's probably.
I remember that from the year before you talked about those cars. I enjoyed that. You got any new ones?
Yeah, so let's just see. So this year we've got the cars we've got. The Mach 5 Speed Racer, Gone in 60 Seconds, Mad Max Interceptor, Mad Max Wasteland, 1966 Batmobile, the Green Hornet car, Black Beauty, Gotham SWAT, the Gotham Police car, the Joker car, Jurassic Park Jeep, Jurassic Park Explorer, Jurassic World Truck, the Need for Speed, the Bluesmobile, General Lee, Roscoe Police, James Bond Thunderball, the Highway Patrol, Kit Car, Miami Vice, Daytona Ferrari,
watching all of these.
Herbie, Starsky and Hutch, Dusk Till Dawn, Bandit, Lightning McQueen, Lightning, Toymaker, Superbird cars, Let's see, there's about another 20. The Bumblebee Transformers, Bumblebee VW, Fast and Furious, the Dodge Demon Charger, so we all those guys there with those, and then there's also other the mini fighter jets that are on there as well, and then we've also got those are mini jets, and we've also got these slingshots. They're going to be those 3-wheelers, and they all got lights on them so that they're all just doing all types of driving in, like choreographed driving through and back and forth. So that would be pretty, all those cars, like just people love them, because that's one thing we can definitely do here in Hollywood is all the movie cars. And then our Grand Marshal, I haven't said it, is Jeremy Renner. So people know him.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yes. And then Mario Lopez is also, he's receiving a special humanitarian award.
You got any Shriners? Any little Shriner cars, man?
I don't know if they have Shriner cars or not.
Love the Shriners, man.
Yeah,
I know, man.
That's more Macy's
I almost
parade.
gotten arrested over Shriner cars. Let's not talk about it.
Yeah, and then we've got Denise Richards. She was one of the Bond girls in the '90s, and she was.
I know she is.
She's the star of Starship Troopers, one of the female lead there.
Oh,
yeah, so we'll have her. And what's really nice about the parade was also.
Whoa.
Wow.
All right, John.
There we go.
Earthquake out there in
I'm setting up
California.
in a special area there because everything's being torn apart and re-put back together. So I'm in a conference room in here with my phone instead of my laptop here. So sorry about that.
Right.
But the history of the Grand Marshals, the parade itself started 92 years ago, and it was 1928 is when it began. And there's only been 3 years where the parade hasn't taken place. 2 years in World War II and 1 year with the COVID. And so it was originally created as the Santa Claus Lane Parade. That's what was the original name of it. And it was originally built or created to bring business into Hollywood. And that was the original function of it. And various actors and celebrities were part of it. And like the first Grand Marshal was Gene Autry. But we also other Grand Marshals were like Roy Rogers, Bob Hope, Lawrence Welk, Charlton Heston, Dale Evans and Roy Rogers, Danny Thomas, Mary Pickford, Dick Van Dyke, Robert Vaughn, Pat Boone, Fred McMurray, Buddy Ebsen, Walter Matthau, Ernest Borgnine, Johnny Mathis, General Robert E. Cushman, John Wayne, General Omar Bradley, James Stewart, Robert Wagner, Natalie Wood, Ron Howard, George Peppard, Michael Landon, William Shatner, Mickey and Minnie Mouse, Tony Danza, Sammy Davis Jr., Arnold Schwarzenegger, Tom Arnold and Roseanne Barr, Bob and Dolores Hope, Louis Gossett Jr., David Hasselhoff, Bo Bridges, Dennis Hopper and Frankie Moniz, Peter Fonda, Mickey Rooney, Johnny Grant, Magic Johnson, Antonio Villaraigosa. He was the governor at the time. He was the mayor of Los Angeles at the time. Bob Barker, Joy and Regis Philbin, Susan Lucci, Larry King, Marie Osmond, Joe Mantegna, Buzz Aldrin. That was really cool when he was here. He had great stories. Stevie Wonder was just such a treat with him as the Grand Marshal. Penn and Teller, Olivia Newton-John, Dr. Oz. Little do we know that he was to become such a major player in the future of America.
Yeah.
Nancy O'Dell, Mario Lopez, Cheryl Underwood, Danny Trejo, and last year we had Colonel Paris Davis, who was had been overlooked 3 different times for the I guess the Legion of Honor, Medal of Honor, which is the highest honor you can give to military, and so he finally got it. He was like he was like a superhero in Vietnam War, and so he finally got his recognition last year by the president. And then so this year the Grand Marshal is going to be, like I said, Jeremy Renner. But the thing about the parade, like I said, it was called the Santa Claus Lane Parade. And some of you guys might remember the famous song. And at one of the parades, I don't know if it was the first one of the parades there, where you had the song, Here Comes Santa Claus. So you've got a little kid tugging on his mom's sleeve going, "Mommy, Mommy, here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus." And that was when Gene Autry was there and he was listening to it. And that inspired him to write a song. Here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. That's what that was. Santa Claus Lane. It was the Santa Claus Lane Parade. So
Oh, wow.
that's what inspired that song, which has become one of the most beloved Christmas songs since then. But that's how that song began, from this Hollywood Christmas, from the Santa Claus Lane Parade, which is now the Hollywood Christmas Parade. And so that was pretty cool on that. So we'll have it. It's the parade starts from 5 to 6 o'clock on. Well, actually, the red carpet goes from 4 to 6. At 5 o'clock, we have some of the acts performing on the street, Hollywood Boulevard, from Orange Street up to Highland, which is right there in front of, like I said, the Chinese Theater and Hollywood and Highland, that whole complex there. It's a red carpeted, and there's the grandstands on the side of the street, which is the Chinese Theater. The other side of the street is where you have the stage, where you've got all the show hosts, and they do the interviews and welcome everybody as they come by. So there'll be shows from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock, all pre-recorded, so that when the parade kicks off at 6 o'clock, it just goes, and it's just one after the other. They go up there, they'll talk, short interview with the parade hosts, which this year the parade hosts are Laura McKenzie, who has her own travel show, and then Dean Cain, which was one of the first Supermen. So he was one of the Supermen. By the way, what you're seeing here, these pictures, this is at the press conference. It just happened a few days ago, announcing this. And there you see all types of ethnicities and countries represented. That's everybody there. That's the media right there. That's the media that's covering it. And then the other shots that you've seen have been, there's the Kevorkian dancers from Armenia. There's dancers from China, dancers from South Korea. There was another country represented there. So we had like about 5 different countries represented with performers at this press conference. And they all spoke in their native tongues with a translator to let everybody know. And then we had a city council member there, was like the host, welcoming everybody, and she's bilingual. So she briefed everybody in English and in Spanish. But and then we introduced Santa Claus, who was there. He's the one that helped close it out. And so it's just been, like I said, it's the biggest event. What's really cool about it is that it's free because it's a parade. And you think of Hollywood, unless you've been here and actually seen what it really is. But you think of Hollywood with the glitz and glamour. That's where Emily and I just got those blue scarves were just presented. This is the contingency from which country? It's near. If they were a part of USSR, now they're separate. It's I'll remember at some point. But they came and made special presentations to both Emily and myself with those scarves. I'll look through my cheat sheet and see if I can find it that way. But it was which one? But they're
wait, who's this guy with his arm all around Emily here? I'm gonna go smack this dude.
Yeah, you are. But anyway, so I'm
very protective here, man. What can I say?
Yeah, you can keep on.
That's why John keeps me around, man. He knows I'll smack him.
Yes.
Hey, John, why don't you have Joe Montaldo as one of them people in charge of the parade? What is it?
Yeah, because I live in New Orleans. And I don't know nothing about LA. I mean, look, when they say, "What do you know about LA?" I say, "Oh, I know." Psst.
Yeah.
Whatever John tells me is what I know.
Joe would be in unfamiliar water at a place in an event like this.
Besides, they don't throw nothing at their parades. I wouldn't even know how to act. I'd be like, wait, throw me something, mister. Or, I got something for you if you'll show me you know what. So I don't think they had them kind of parades in LA.
Yeah, it's
No,
kind of
we don't.
it's kind of a children's day too, so you don't really have.
Oh yeah, see, man, I could never do something like that. I'd be in
Man.
instant trouble, instant trouble, and then it would
Instant
be all
indeed.
Sean's fault.
Yep,
Uh,
my fault.
it'd be Sean's fault. See how we worked that out to be Sean's fault, people.
But anyway,
what
so
is
the
this
parade
crowd?
kicks off at 6 o'clock and it goes for 2 hours. And because one of the things that people have problems with is there's always something happening on the red carpet in front of the hosts.
Woo-hoo.
But if somebody's performing from the host, that means the parade's not marching along. So there'll be like 5-minute gaps. Those are Chinese. Yes, that's the Chinese.
I gotta watch Supergirl over here, all loving up on China.
Oh, she's a serious chick. She's the one. She's the director of the Chinese American business community in California, and she's. It's funny with her. I don't know if I got a picture in here or not. Wherever she goes, media follows her. She's like one of the most photographed people. Wherever she goes, she just gets people. She was there. She was leaving, flying back to, I think, Taiwan the next day. Then she'll be back for in early December. But this is the Chinese contingency that were there at the press conference, and they're one of the main sponsors as well of the parade. They've been doing it for I think the third year, but to promote working with American business with Chinese. We'll see how that goes with what's coming. But anyway, she's pretty good. She's invited me to a few different events with the Chinese ambassador. But otherwise, it's that's the Chinese people that were there. And Mongolian. That was the earlier picture. That was those are the Mongolians, the ones that gave us the blue sashes. That was from Mongolia. So they were there presenting those recognitions to us. But anyway, so the parade runs from 6 to 8, and then at 8 o'clock, or actually 8:03 for the timesheet, is when Santa Claus kicks off, and that's the final float. And but by having all these acts perform and be pre-recorded on the red carpet, then there's no delay. So as people are waiting on the rest of the 3.5 mile route, they're not waiting 5 minutes in between floats going and acts and bands going down the street. This is also the kickoff event for the Christmas Toys for Tots campaign. We're the first event for that. So with that, the first float there, or the first entry that goes down the parade route, is the U.S. Marine Corps marching band out of San Diego, and they'll have the general who's over the Toys for Tots, and they're going off down there, and they're playing "Hooray for Hollywood." That's the song that they play as they're going down, and that's how the parade starts, and then it ends with a Marine Guard on the sleigh with Santa Claus. So they're protecting Santa Claus as he goes down as the final sleigh going to finish off the parade. And in between, you've got literally like 60 cars, or maybe 70 cars. It's more cars this year. We've got, let's see, there's so almost 100 celebrities and VIPs, 12 marching bands, 13 of those big balloons, of which one of them is our Stories from the Golden Age. Now, is this the video? Yeah, you can play this. If you can play it. There's a little, or not. Does it play?
I didn't want to play for some reason.
Okay. Anyway, that was a little clip I made of that during the press conference. I was there standing behind them, so I did a little 30-second video of them finishing their song and then twirling around so you can see everybody that was in the press conference with me. But then there's 75 characters, novelties, equestrians, and groups, 5 floats. One of them is our Way to Happiness float with Marisol Nichols. She was one of the main stars in Riverdale. And then we've got several other live parade performers. We've got, let's see, there's two Los Angeles Lakers legends, AC Green and Michael Cooper, will be there. Lou Ferrigno, the Incredible Hulk, will be there as well. Clay
Well,
Aiken
he's going to be there as the Incredible Hulk?
No, he'll be there as himself, but
Okay.
people know him as that.
Yeah.
He could be there as he came in number 2, number 3 in Mr. Universe behind Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he's still.
I do have a question, John, real quick.
Yeah.
So this is a 2-hour parade, correct?
Correct.
But you have so much going on. How's it going to make it for 2 hours? I mean,
So
wouldn't it go past the 2 hours?
That's a good question. So the way it works is the beginning part goes from 5 to 6. So that's an hour, which is just in front of, that's just for the grandstands. The parade itself goes from 6 to 8. Where adds the time is there's also a bunch of musicians that will perform, but they perform in studio on a sound stage. So the broadcast that takes place on December 14th on the CW is an edited show of this, so that things are cut and clipped. So you got 2-hour show, less commercial time. So whether it turns out to be an hour and 40 minutes or so. So it's very much shorter with what you just said. So Associated Television also owns a TV station called Popstar TV. They've got about 400,000 subscribers, and we're telling people that if you can subscribe, it's free to subscribe it on Popstar TV. On just go to Google or wherever you get your apps and download it. They will play for, I'm not sure when it's going to start in December, but they'll play the whole thing with no edits. It's going to be just the full parade in all the different performers there. So it's going to be about 3.5 hour broadcast on Popstar TV. So that's where you'll see the whole thing. That has been a problem where some people, okay, I'm in it. And then you see it for 5 seconds. And, you know, they've come all the way from wherever they were to play in the band and stuff like that. So now, and then you've also got the network sometimes has very asinine rules and regulations on what can and can't be on. So I know myself with the stuff I do with L. Hubbard, I've had, you know, it depends if you got somebody that's really mega anti-Second Amendment, anti-American, whatever you call them, they'll create a problem for Associated Television. So now what they can do is they can just have the whole broadcast there on Popstar TV, and in the local KTLA broadcast, which are they'll do the whole broadcast as well. So they air it twice. One is the LA broadcast, which has everything on it, and the other one is the CW broadcast, which is very much chopped. So hopefully that answers your question for you. Okay.
It did. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And you said, John, that the parade route is 3.5 miles?
Yeah.
So if you were to take the entire parade, floats and cars and people and all that, do you know how long that would be?
Well, once the last one depends on, you know, how fast or slow they go. It'll go like Santa Claus leaves it, like I said, just after 8 o'clock. He'll come back in 10:15, 10:30. That's when he returns.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So it takes 2 hours to get through the route as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a lot of, but there's so many people, and it's funny. I've had some of the politicians that have been in it. One of them came back. It was the first time he ever attended it last year, and he came back. He was like, "That was amazing! Everybody was cheering for me. Nobody yelled at me." He's so used to as a politician, especially in LA, which is like living proof that you can always piss somebody off. Is always used to being yelled at, and so they just cheered him. He said, "This was great." So he's back. He's back this year. It's unfortunate because he just termed out, so he's made his term as a city council member. But that's what the length of it is, and then it's we'll have people coming back afterwards, and we have various sponsors. We have another ABA, American Books Basketball Association. I think he was a forward, Rick Darnell, who's got. He's got a company, a distillery company, so he provides, the beverages, alcoholic and non-alcoholic, and so we just a lot of stuff is donated by people that contribute, and then whatever we put together the step and repeat and the shields and stuff like that to keep the people who don't want to have snooping in, yelling and stuff like that from being able to disturb the red carpet. And that's and then so we spend however many days setting up, then it goes on for the day, and then we jam to have it all. We clean it all up by so we're back ready for business by mid-afternoon Monday, and it's like otherwise, other than being set up for there's everybody there at the press conference there. That's in the courtyard of what used to be called Hollywood Highland. Now it's Ovation Hollywood. It's the big shopping center right there.
That's your official Santa that's going to be the last float?
Yeah. So this is his first year being the official Santa in the parade. He came last year for the press conference, but his predecessor, Santa Tim, lives in New York, and he's like retired. He's like in his late 70s, maybe he's 80. So he's like, okay, I've done this for like 40, 50 years. He traveled the world training Santa Clauses. That in itself is his own amazing thing. Like being a Santa Claus, he said, you have no idea what goes into being a Santa Claus. And you buy an outfit and there you go. But you got the real thing, and then you got the ones that buy their fake stuff. So these guys all grow their beard and bleach it, and they have their hair that grow out and they bleach that, so they have the white. But they go through they go through Santa school, because like, what do you do? So you have a little kid coming up and say, Santa, can you bring my brother back? Who was killed in the war, or can you make my mommy and daddy come back together again? Or those are serious questions that the kids really want. What do you do? Plus a lot of times they go to private parties, so they have to get trained on how to handle and deal with stuff. And but it's just amazing. What do you do when a little kid comes up and pulls on your beard and it hurts like heck, and you want to slap the kid across the side of his face? Or nasty little kids, how do you handle that? So the good ones get trained and drilled on how to do it, and they learn the history of the Santa Claus, so they can actually talk with some reality on St. Nicholas and how it came to be. So it can be I had no idea, but we hosted his school twice, where Santa Clauses came in from the West Coast and did a whole 2-day seminar workshop on being Santa Claus, what to do, how to do it, how to pose for a picture, how do you do this, what's, the different things that you kind of take for granted, but then if you don't learn it right, then the Santa Claus experience is less than cool.
I'd rather be Krampus. Put me in there, man.
Oh, speaking of that, I seen a cool ass Krampus parade the other night, man. Somewhere in one of the Scandinavian countries. It was badass.
I like that Santa suit. It's not your atypical Santa suit, so it's unique, and the boots are pretty cool.
Yeah, they're brown. They're not black. Wait, you don't have black boots on.
Yeah, he didn't have the. Well, I can't tell with his hands where they are, but does he have the black belt or a brown belt?
I think his belt matched his boots.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Yeah.
It's a Rodeo Drive Santa Claus. It's not.
Yeah. Yeah, he offered to rappel down the side of Hollywood Highland. We said, no, thank you. You can just come in this way.
Yeah, imagine the insurance bill for that. No, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. Exactly. Yeah. But we're excited about him coming. So then, as soon as we start disassembling the step and repeat, starting right after 6:00, once the parade starts, then we're in there starting to take down the step and repeat, because the streets got to be open by Monday morning. It's like, they're used to that stuff here with on the events, because there's premieres all the time and on Hollywood Boulevard, so they're used to like totally, taking it over and shutting it off through traffic. But then as soon as that thing's up, boom, everything's out of there, and all the bleachers come down and all the carpet gets rolled up. And unfortunately, with equestrian groups, the shovel brigade happens first, and then everything gets loaded in trucks and gets put away for a year, and then all the rentals go back. Our lower garage is the staging area for most of the stuff. So all the we get like 40 golf carts that we use for production, driving the sleds around, couriering this, doing that, all over the place. And then they all get, Emily was around earlier today putting signs on each of the golf carts so the right people get the right carts. And then we have to make sure tomorrow they're all charged so they don't, crap out when the parade's happening. And then all the different, they ran already the cable from the street to our 4th floor so that as the parade's happening, there's a live feed so that everybody inside can watch on a big monitor that we set up. They can watch the parade as it's happening. And then they have somebody calling everybody out. So at the time when you're supposed to get out there and load in, then the car comes down from the roof past the 5th floor to the 4th floor, and they stop in front of the 4th floor, and that's where they load in. And we've built another cool thing. We will have built another cool thing by the door. So when they come out, they can pose in front of that by their car, and they'll see a nice thing, Hollywood Christmas Parade, so they can have photos for their own memorabilia if they want. We try to make it a cool event for them. And for us, it's a big thing helping out the community, and which we really enjoy. And so it goes on, and then it's a long night for us, So once we're done doing all the, photos and helping with this, and I go through, and fortunately this year I got somebody that's going to be able to take over the vital hat of making sure that the trash cans in the bathrooms stay empty, and there's enough toilet paper, those jobs that nobody wants to do. So of course, it's the executives that go around making sure that happens, because nothing's worse than having something, you're out of toilet paper, your trash can's overfull, and it looks so disgusting. So, this year we got 2 people just gonna be doing that, making sure to service the restrooms on the 1st and 4th floor. And so they live, and they drive down onto the street and get onto the parade route. And then when they're done, they come back, and they can either load in the car and take off, or they can come back and come back into the green room and have more, whatever they want to eat or drink.
Man, they got. I'm telling you what, man. I'm telling you, they got hooked up over there. Plus, they got the best damn coffee machine in damn LA. Yeah. And I'm telling you, they got the best coffee machine in LA, man. I'm drinking several cups of coffee out of that damn thing.
Definitely good coffee.
If I could figure out a way to have it in my shirt, I'd already have it at home. But it's too damn big, man.
Yeah,
but
it's cool. We get to meet a lot of people, and I do various things in Hollywood, so I get to meet some cool people, and things come up later on where there'll be a guest on the podcast because they're producers, they're writers, and it's just a good opportunity to help give to the community, which, like I started to say earlier, is you've got all these families. The real Hollywood are the families that, keep it clean, that they're the gaffers and the cameramen and the grips and the working class. They're the ones that are there, and so they don't always necessarily get an opportunity to see these different celebrities. And so, giving the opportunity for them, you see these. That's part of me. That's the biggest payoff for me. Is I was just seeing these little kids, like their eyes get all bright and shiny, and there's when they see their, a TV star or a movie star, or the big balloons, or the marching bands are just so amazing. On a crisp night, it's going to be like in the high 50s, maybe mid 50s. Nice. It'll be nice out there. So you got the marching band and playing, and it's so cool hearing them. There's so much energy because everything's live. One thing too that's different would
be really good if they do good. If they have a good song, they can really get you going.
Oh, for sure. And what I would like too is our building's right here on Hollywood Boulevard. So we can look out the windows on the green room. You can look out and see all the marching bands are warming up and the floats there, and just everything's just so alive and dynamic. And you're in an area here. It's different than probably any place else. Hollywood is such a 2D environment. All they're used to doing is seeing pixels on a screen. Theater doesn't do well in Hollywood as it does in New York. Everybody's so used to seeing television. They make TV, they make movies, and actors perform in front of a cameraman and a director, not in front of an audience. And so when you see something that's live and performing for people that aren't used to it, it's extra exhilarating. It's extra like, oh my gosh, it's so spectacular. Because all they ever do is they see it on television, even if they got a fancy, screen and fancy speakers. It's nowhere near the same as seeing something in real life.
I could be there with my lightsaber, man.
You could be. You definitely could be.
Get out the way, you little heathens. Okay, I gotta behave myself.
I invited you, but you said no, not good enough for me.
Well, hey, I still don't know about that other thing. What is that, Heather Wade? No, not the Heather Wade, right? If you are the Heather Wade, why don't you contact us in the next hour? Because I don't think that's who you are. Anyway, what was your question? Matter of fact, where are you at? In Nevada. You're not gonna tell me where? Not in the hometown of Art Bell, huh? Just thought I'd ask. Anyway, what's your question today? No, it's in Los Angeles. Anybody can come. You're in wherever
if you're in Hollywood,
in
you're welcome to come. And you can still get tickets at Ticketmaster to be there in the grandstands. Otherwise, it lines up. We do a thing also on Saturday. Tomorrow there'll be a whole. Actually, we've got a way to have this float. There's a cleanup that's done by, I think they've got 200 people lined up to just go up and clean up Hollywood Boulevard. They have brooms and rakes and stuff just to clean it up and get rid of all the syringes and all the other crap that.
Okay, now you see down here where we do real parades, we have machines that do all of that. We don't make our citizens go out and do that kind of. We don't even make the criminals go out and do that kind of stuff. Oh man, shame on y'all.
Well, good luck to you, buddy.
Thank you very much.
It looks like it's a blast. It looks like it's a blast out there. I have no doubt that John will have a good time.
How many cars did he name off? 50, 60 cars?
Yeah.
That alone is where, I remember the first time I saw the actual Batmobile they filmed with, and I went under the lines. They had it roped off, but I went under and I touched it, and it was fuzzy, like a pool table, velvety kind of, it wasn't metal.
Yeah.
And then Burt Ward and Adam West were both there in costume as Batman and Robin, and they had a question and answer thing, and I just said, "Hi, Batman. I know I'm going to get in trouble for this, but I touched the car and went under the ropes. Why was it fuzzy?" The car, man. Yeah, and he gave me a lecture, he should. And then he said it was fuzzy because they painted it with this special textured paint so that when they had the Hollywood lights on, when it drove by, you wouldn't see the camera crew in the metal black of the car like a mirror.
Yeah, because it's very reflective. That's a thing too, where you see a big problem that movies have with green screen.
Yeah.
Where they should the green reflecting off of from the back onto the stuff. That's why they've switched now a lot to doing these the LED, the 360 LED around there, because it doesn't reflect the green on. Because they go through post-production would spend countless hours and however jillions of dollars to get rid of all the green.
It's funny when it works the best with the weather guy, and he wears a tie with green stripes, and he's saying that you can see the cities behind, in his shirt, in his tie, and it's just like, dude, you're invisible.
Yeah, exactly. But so you see, there's all those cars there. It's really cool. I remember when I saw. This was at another movie lot, the original car that was used in remember Mayberry RFD? You know, the one,
yeah.
Andy Griffith's car.
It was a Plymouth, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. I remember that show. I would like to have seen that car too. My dream would be to have all those cars in my garage. Like, no, seriously, you laugh. That's what I would like to collect. And then like,
no, I'm laughing.
Make
because,
friends
like,
with Jay Leno, man. That's all I can tell
Yeah.
you.
I'm just saying,
the words
you
right out
laugh,
of my
but
mouth.
so many
Yeah.
people share that dream.
yeah,
Who's got a head start? Who's got a head start on you?
And I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm an hour away from Carlisle, where they have the biggest like car rallies. It's where the first Corvette car club started. So I'm in car country. So I'm in the right place.
You can see I ain't never inviting you to my house. You'd be weirding out on me and stuff.
We weird out on the show all the time, Joe. So what
No,
would be different?
He was weirded out when John was mentioning the cars that were going to be there. I swear to God,
Yeah,
you were
the
like,
new ones are the
you were
Mad Max
like a
cars,
little kid on Christmas morning.
You can walk out in front of my house for 2 weeks in October and watch every old car in the nation go by.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are really noisy, some of them really loud. I'm like, look, guys, I live in a peaceful little bayou on the Gulf of Mexico. Stop making your loud ass car go by my house.
Well, a lot of them are iconic muscle cars. You mentioned the Mad Max cars. The original Mad Max cars were built in the Ford Australia plant, and they were called Falcons. And I'd like to ask the panel, do you know why that's significant? Why they called it the Falcon?
Nope. I don't know, Jay. Honestly, I don't.
The 1962 concept Mustang car and the future production cars were built on the platform that they built the Falcons on.
My dad had a Falcon too.
Yeah, the Ford Falcon.
It had a fire engine car.
They built it on the same frame, and they called it the Mustang.
Where's that, Jerry Glenn?
Actually,
no. In the second hour, we'll take questions like that. No, we're not talking about that.
To go with your Ford. You can always tell.
Now we're talking about cool stuff like the LA Christmas parade.
You can walk through a parking lot and always tell a Ford by the smell of antifreeze up in the air. You know what I mean? And it's always like everybody was going to Ford, like,
Ford, buddy.
That's the thing about cars that I find so much fun. Like everybody is one brand or another. I'm a Chevy guy, and my boss at the Home Depot when I first started there, he was a Ford guy, and every once in a while, if me clocking in a few minutes late, he'd be like, "Oh, you're a few minutes late there, huh?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, sir. I got stuck behind a Ford driver," and then he would laugh and shuffle it off.
Listen to you.
Oh man.
It's a good joke, and you can switch it around. If you're a Ford guy, you say, "I got stuck behind a Chevy driver," etc.
What do you mean, Carol? No, John won't get on the float. I tried to tell him to get on the float. He won't get on the float. No, he's like, no. He's famous, but he won't get.
I got to keep the trash cans empty in the
bathroom.
bathroom.
Too much coordinating to do.
So next time one of my friends is riding down here, I'm going to invite him down. Yeah, we're going to get his ass on a float one way or another. But these parades down here are a little bit different than the ones out there. Like,
but if anybody's in Los Angeles, I do invite you to come. Just come early. We also have the Metro has a drop off right there at the right by the where the red carpet is. So you can take a Metro right in there and avoid the insane parking that's going to be and traffic that's going to be going on then. And then the parade itself will broadcast on December 14th on the CW which is a Saturday at 8 p.m. from 8 to 10 p.m. It's their biggest holiday special they've got every year. So that'll be on there. And then otherwise, like I said, the Popstar TV also has an app you can download and watch the whole thing. And all this stuff, you can find everything I'm saying here if you go to thehollywoodchristmasparade.org. Has the parade, the details, all the different performers, grand marshal, stuff about the various entries, but also where you can go and watch it after it's over with. It's pretty cool, and you can see all the different musical groups that'll be performing there. We've had, like I said, a lot over the years, and then in my humble involvement, we've got our big balloon because it was inspired by our line of books. I'm a book publisher, as you well know, with the stories from the Golden Age, and that's what we have there, represented with that big balloon. That these are all those stories written in 30s and 40s by Owen Hubbard. So that's why we continue to participate in it as well. And then we will also have that the Float for the Way to Happiness, which is that was the last book that Owen Hubbard ever wrote, called The Way to Happiness. And that was after he spent some time in New York and saw how degraded the society was becoming. And so he wrote this, which taught basics, like respect the religious beliefs of others, support a government run for all the people, respect and respect your parents, take care of your children, be worthy of trust, flourish and prosper, take care of yourself. Even simple things like brush your teeth, take a bath, things that aren't, it's silly, but that stuff's not taught anymore. And then you've got, be true to your partner, things like that. Don't be promiscuous, be temperate, things that don't get taught. It's like schools say, well, it's up to the parents. The parents say it's up to the school. Then someone says it's up to the religion. The religion says, no, we can't do that. So everybody's pointing the finger at somebody else's fault for society the way it is. So he said, okay, good. Here we go. Here's non-religious moral code. And it's had over 100 million copies printed and distributed around the world. So we have a float with that as well. It's kind of like to spread that word too, that people can do that, which is it's an important message to have, and especially right now. It's always especially, but right now, the need for something like that to take place, because it's I see it more here in Hollywood than maybe you do over there, but it's still so divisive over here, because this is the location where the people that left the country live or lived, and so you got people are convinced now that the end is at hand, and they're like, really? But they're so convinced of that, so we need to get that message of come on, guys, let's.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's a good message to get out. So I think there are so many people in society nowadays that use Christmas as an excuse to be, an ass all year long to everybody, and then Christmas time's like, oh, sorry, everything's all good, give me presents, and then go back to being an ass again. That's not how it works.
No, definitely
that sounds
not.
fun to me. What the hell, man? What is wrong with you people? Damn. All I can say is, look,
All I can say is take that little lightsaber of yours and give yourself a roto-rooter there, my friend.
Look, I'm going to tell you. I'm not the most Christmassy person nowadays. It's Christmas is evil. What did Kamala Harris say? Y'all's future governor of California? You didn't hear her rant about Christmas?
No, what'd she say?
Oh no, she just went off on a rampage about I can't believe y'all are celebrating Christmas and all. This is an older clip, but I mean, she just went off on a rampage with it. It was insane. You listen to, it was just so hateful and spiteful. I think it's when she was Attorney General in California, which I did hear today. She is going to be y'all's new governor. She's going to take over in 2 years when, what's his face?
Gavin.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to say his real name because I had to make fun of him, but so that's the thing now. But the super PAC said they're not going to give her no money to run, so I'm not exactly sure.
No, she's already fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
I think she's on her way out. So hopefully she won't be the Florida.
I can't imagine she would be. She was so bad, and it's still stuff that's still rolling around. I don't think for
who. Well, no, they got a lot of good people in California. Somebody can make a good governor.
Yeah.
They prefer the movie star kind of people.
What about
you,
John? You can run for governor. There you go.
Yeah, why don't you try, John?
You governor.
He's the right age and everything.
And the right age.
You don't
have enough going on as it is with L. Ron Hubbard competitions and the artists and the writers and then the
look, Emily can handle all of that stuff.
There we go.
No.
They'll
He can give all of that to Emily.
Open arms.
He could say, he said, okay, Miss Emily, you just handle all this. I'm going to go be governor. Or just mayor LA. That works. You could just be mayor LA.
Start low. Get hit mayor and then go to governor. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Be mayor for 2 years. Be mayor for 2 years, and then when the governorship comes up, run for governor.
Yeah, right. Thank you. I feel much more comfortable working with 4 other crusty old men.
I'm just saying, you'd be good. You make a good governor. You can have some fun. Be governor. God knows that state needs a good governor, man.
If you're a governor of California.
Ronald Reagan. Come on, man. Put him in.
I
Yeah.
didn't ask
He
you.
went on
Now,
to be
what
president 2 terms.
what time does this all
Yeah.
start on Saturday? Stephanie actually lives in LA. She was just asking what time it
Okay,
started.
so Stephanie, I'll speak to you then.
You
So
see how he just kicks us to the curb? Damn. Go ahead.
Well, she's local. Give him a break.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
she said it's going to come to the parade.
No.
So it starts at 6 o'clock, and obviously get there early. The street closures take place at midnight on Saturday. So Hollywood Boulevard will be shut down. Franklin is the way to get in, but it's better if you're able to take the metro, park someplace at a station near where you live, and then take the metro in and get off at the Highland exit, Hollywood and Highland exit, and that way you can just walk right up and you're right there on Hollywood Boulevard. And that's
what the hell is a metro?
It's a subway.
it's a train. It's a subway. It's a train.
Joe, we have these things that are in the ground that are tubes.
Oh, gee, at least we don't have those things.
We go from one place to another.
Yeah, you're too busy cleaning off your streets with your vehicles.
We could have nothing. We could never have anything that was underground.
You're too low to the ocean to have tunnels with trains.
Yes, I know. It's not gonna happen.
So, but in DC, we're lucky enough. Our tunnels also have bridges, so our train goes above ground, on ground, and underground. It's very cool.
Ours have that as well.
Okay, cool.
These people.
They're going through a major upheaval right now at the LA airport, getting ready for we got the Super Bowl, we've got the soccer championship, and we've got the Olympics all coming.
Yeah, you got a lot of stuff coming up.
In 26, 27, 28. So it's they're working right now. So there'll be they're putting in a people mover at the airport, which they haven't had, which is just insane. And they'll have the trains will go all the way to the airport. It didn't happen before because the taxi union actually stopped it. They were able to convince the city council to not allow the trains to go all the way to the airport. So they stopped about a half a mile outside of the airport. So you had to take a taxi to get from.
Man, taxi driver's got to make his damn money. Come on now.
Joe.
You Californians are rough, man.
Yeah,
they're
but
rough, man.
You know what they
I
call
feel
it?
y'all's plight out there, taxi drivers.
You've flown into LAX before, knowing as a nightmare it is.
Yeah, but you know what? I've been to LA a dozen times. Fortunately for me, I'm lucky. There's always somebody locally picking me up, so I'm just getting the ride.
Yeah. This time your ride's not going to be available, unfortunately. So
no.
You can take the public transportation once you take your taxi.
I'd end up in Sacramento or somewhere, Oakland.
No doubt.
I'd be like, where the hell am I? Why have I been on a train for 8 hours? Where the hell am I?
Yeah, you're in a place called San Francisco.
And I'd be upset then. Now, come on, I could go anywhere else in California. Not San Francisco. I don't want to go.
Well, although if you go to San Francisco, I'm told you can experience the coldest winter in the middle of summer.
They drop you off in Compton, Joe.
I'll be all right in Compton. Look, I'm from New Orleans. I can deal with Compton. I mean, our mayor's from Compton, man. Give me a break. Our New Orleans mayor's from Compton. Yes, people. I'm serious. Our New Orleans mayor's from Compton. Matter of fact, she's leaving now. Oh, wait, y'all got to hear this. You're going to love this. So New Orleans mayor decided because the real facts are not getting out to the people, she's going to start her own news thing so that the people can get the real facts. I was like, you got to be kidding me,
Where is
man.
she getting her facts from?
Yeah, well, this woman was under investigation for credit card fraud with the Water Bureau when she ran for mayor against a judge, and she still won. I was like, you got to be kidding.
Exactly how her show is going to go. Here's the facts. She's going to reach back to her fax machine and pull off the latest spam fax and read a news blurb off
and
of
there's
it.
not going to be, and you're going to hear, oh no, I was not having an affair with the police chief. That's not true. Y'all weren't buying us dinner. Yeah, okay.
Doesn't New Orleans have enough mayors in jail?
Jesus,
do they really need?
I don't think they have
any
as
more
many
politicians.
We don't really put mayors in jail. We put governors in jail down
here.
Yeah,
Mayor, the guy who went to jail, mayor for DC, that was a fiasco. Can you imagine?
What's that, Jennifer?
He goes to jail, gets out, and then they vote him right back in. The very next year, he gets out. The stupidest people I've ever heard.
Wait, no. He meant if you wanted to get in this, like the whatchamacallit,
the grandstands.
Yeah, the grandstands if you had to pay. No, you just go out and watch it.
Yeah, there's no fee to just sit by there and watch it. And there are some spaces you just have to get there early to be able to squeeze in by the red carpet. You can get there, but not on the bleachers where you don't have to pay anything. You just have to be there early enough to get at somebody else, because people get there early to be able to be in it.
Kelly's listening on 107.7 in New Orleans. She said, "What do you mean they don't throw anything? They don't throw anything, man. Nothing. They don't throw no candy,
it's like you
no
can't.
moon pies, no beads, no free chicken doubloons, no nothing, man. I know they stingy bastards. What can I say?
They take things from you instead. They run out into the crowd and like go to your run your pockets. You run your pockets. Give me what you got.
Man.
Take a purse. Take a bag.
Speaking of that, now that was funny watching the Turkey Day parade in New York when all the Palestinians laid across the ground and they just walked over us. I was like, oh man, this country is weird. What LA is fun. I've enjoyed LA. I don't know why y'all hate on it so much. I don't. I mean, I don't live there. John lives there. I mean, he knows how it is to live there.
Politics, man, it scares people.
I've been out. I was out there when I was in the Navy. I've been out there filming a half dozen times. I've been out seen them 4 or 5 times. It's I find a nice place. Now, granted, I don't go wandering all over the place, but still.
I have some great.
Yeah, there's some places in LA you got to be careful of. Same with DC.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, especially since I don't bring Martha with me.
Well,
I would actually bring Martha with me, but I know Emily would take off and go to the gun range with it.
When people think like California, they think LA or San Francisco. Really, if you go up to big,
giving Emily a hard time for it,
because she would $10 that if I come down there with my gun, she's going to have to go shoot it. $10,
pretty much.
Maybe $50. I think I'd take a good get. I mean, I wouldn't mind because I have no doubt she could probably do it, but still.
No, she used to. For one, I think it was a week. Her dad brought her to Louisiana or wherever it was, and someone trained her on shooting every form of pistol, rifle, shotgun, semi-automatic, automatic, starting with even a blunderbuss, which knocked her on her ass when she shot it. Yeah. But she learned how to shoot, load, clean all the different guns. So
well, you need to know that when a zombie apocalypse coming, it's going to be bad in LA because there's a lot of people.
She never goes anywhere without at least 2 knives. At least 2 knives on her body. Yeah.
Oh man, I can see that. What's that, Christopher? No, I did actually. You heard that story? No, I brought her a. It's just a 440 surgical steel is what it was. It's just a little baby knife. About I don't know.
It's a baby sword, not a baby knife.
Okay, it was a baby sword, but still, it was. It's the whatchamacallit one.
It's 15 inches. It's considered a dagger.
It's no. This is part of one of my Japanese samurai sets. It was the baby one.
It's just it's in a nice little sheath there, and so you pull it out.
And it's been sitting there collecting dust. Let me bring it to Emily, and now you see John's got to behave himself now, guys.
Yeah.
And it's since it's 440 surgical stainless steel, you know, if you cut somebody, they're not going to get infected.
It's very thoughtful of you, Joe. Thank you.
I just gotta keep you healthy, man. Frank. Anyway, Frank, what are you asking? What do you mean? How do you become a part of the parade? Get famous?
Mm-hmm.
To answer that question, we end up with a couple hundred volunteers every year. So
there you go.
So if a person is interested, they can't be in the parade, but they can help us. You could be
much more up close for sure.
What's that?
As a volunteer, they could be much more up close for sure.
Yeah, because we end up with about 100, 150 people carrying balloons. We have half a dozen mic runners. We get grandstand ushers. We have people that handle the red carpet, help us to handle checking the media, help run the control the flow of traffic. We have people that make sure people don't clutter the street in front of us. We have some of the volunteers that just as they continue to work with us and they become more trusted, they become the drivers for the celebrities that get them out onto the street. You know, if they're going to go perform, we do that type of stuff. We have some that help on the inside as bartenders. We get.
I used to be a licensed bartender.
So
Well, if you were here, you'd be on the list.
Hey, Jay, if Jay went out there, he would say, "The hell with this bartending. I want to go see them damn cars." That's what Jay would go out there for.
He'd be up on the roof.
See, that's perfect though. See, that's perfect when you're a bartender.
If there's some red carpet celebrities coming by getting a liquor drink from me, I think I'm sticking around for those tips because I'm pretty good.
Yeah, but it's better than that because like when I used to bartend, everybody and their mom comes through sooner.
Beverages, what about food? So you're gonna have people lining up and in the grandstands. What is there gonna be, like food trucks and stuff for them to check out?
The people that's the restaurants. We're trying to get people to go to the restaurants so that they can then buy food. So we had a special thing with Hard Rock Cafe. So we got them 50 tickets, and they're bringing a bunch of desserts and foods and stuff that they're sponsoring. But we also they're doing the thing when people come and eat at the Hard Rock Cafe for the next couple of days, and they can, if they want, they can get tickets to go to the parade, and then all the employees at Hard Rock Cafe, except for those working that day, are wanting to be part of the get tickets for the grandstand. So we've got that, that they're all excited about. So
they should let me come down there and cook some alligator for them.
Ooh,
Joe,
I should let me come down there and barbecue some alligator up there on the roof, man. Oh man, y'all don't know what y'all missing out on.
Me and Jay would go down there and we just set up our own pierogi stand.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, that'd be pretty. That'd be okay.
Shepherd's pies. We'll get them fed.
These guys, they're gonna be making money and stuff, man. Okay.
So I'm trying to look and see it, but am I able to show cars how do I get into
Oh, I don't know if you look all the way at the bottom of your screen, you should see a bar that has mute, stop cam, etc., and invite. If there's a present bar, you hit that, then you can show your screens, either pictures or another website and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, all I have is I've got edit name and headline, edit audio, avatar and audio is all I have.
Yeah, it's why. Oh, because he must be on his phone because it should let you present it.
Yeah,
let's guess.
On your laptop, you can probably get to it.
Yeah, because it's part of the thing we use it for is because it'll let a guest present.
You could email the photos to Joe, and we can flow them up.
Yeah, email them.
Yeah, because I've gone through. I think it was last year. I'll get through it because I made a little video. I just walked along all the different cars. I walked like it was like a block and a half, just all these cool cars. And I was just.
All right, now, to be honest now, how many of them did you sit in?
Oh, I couldn't sit in them. I was.
Were you tempted?
I was happy just to be able to go out. I was walking up to the stage to coordinate one of the presentations. I just did that. I'm just so trying to keep one step ahead of the hurricane that's right behind me that day.
Oh, I don't know. I think I'd have to sit in the Batmobile, and I'd probably have to sit in the Mad Max car because I've never sat in a right-hand drive vehicle. I just couldn't stop myself.
Oh, I believe you. Some people are just totally crazy like that. And there's also the people that we have all these classic antique cars up on our roof
nice.
That drive the celebrities. And these are like seriously cherry, really expensive cars that they're up there that they drive around whatever celebrities and politicians in, and they're like, they're their own. That's a different class of or a different type of aficionado. You got the guys that have all the movie cars, and you get these guys here have the classics.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if people are aware of this. So speaking of the Batmobile, there are some artists, some craftsmen out there that are making the Barris Batmobile. You can get that. There's a guy out there that's doing. I think also in Ohio where the Batmobile is, the guy that does Munster car.
Yeah.
So if you have the money, you can get them. And if you really, really have the money and you don't mind going to Australia, there are two companies that do the Mad Max cars, and those cars are still pretty cherry. So just think about.
Speaking of Australia, we're getting ready to take the bottom of the hour break, guys and girls. No music this time. You'll be listening to Lefty's Losing It with one of my favorite hosts from Sky News. She'll be doing that while we're on break. We'll be going for about 8 or 9 minutes. Everyone stay tuned to United Public Radio. What's that, Gene? Wait,
Thank you
all
guys
right.
very much. It's great talking to you. I appreciate
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I appreciate it, Joe.
John's
Good
great.
luck to
Seeing you
you,
again.
my friend.
Thank
Good
you
luck
very
to you.
much.
Be
And I
good.
look forward to chat. So, Scott, Joe, we're talking tomorrow as well for the first hour because we've got the
Yeah.
office quill.
Yeah, we got the author's quill, and I forgot. Carmen told me who the guest was. It just went out of my head when you asked, though.
Yeah, he's an amazing author. I love his stuff. He's been a guest on the podcast, and you're going to love him. He's an amazing author. So anyway, I will talk to you tomorrow. Good night, gentlemen.
Good night.
Look forward to when I can talk to you again one of these days. Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah. Be good. Give the boss lady a hug. All right, guys and girls, we're going to play this. We're going to play this up right quick. That was John Goodwin from Galaxy Press. Matter of fact, galaxypress.com if you want to buy something. They got lots of good stuff to choose from over there. And
got a lot of cool stuff.
Before we go to break, remember he's the one that runs writersofthefuture.com. Writersofthefuture.com is actually the website. It's Writers of the Future. They're the ones who have the contest for the illustrators and the authors. That's a great contest. You can enroll 4 times a year. I mean, you can really 4 times. You can try to win 4 times a year. All the rules and everything you need to know is on writersofthefuture.com. There's even a free writers course there, and they do try to help you win. I mean, but and it is blind judge. I can honestly say it's blind judge. I know it took a long time for them to convince me of this, and I had to go down there a few times to make sure. But it is truly blind judge. But on that note, we're going to take a quick break. So I want everyone to hang out and listen to this. She's one of my favorite hosts for some reason. She is something else, man. But anyway, y'all listen to this, and we'll be on break, and we'll see y'all in just about 8 or 9 minutes.
She's losing it. And let's hear from a lefty explaining why they believe conservatives are weird. Can't wait to hear this.
What is something weird about conservatives?
There is almost a cultish vibe, I feel. The way they operate within themselves, they refuse to listen to outside people, they're refusing to learn, essentially. I think that is a large part of it.
Perfect. Yep, they're the folks calling you weird for believing in biological reality, borders, law and order. Let's go to New York now, where dyeing your armpit hair pink is now an expression of gender identity. Confused? Watch this.
Have you ever gone to a salon to dye your armpit and eyebrow hair? Well, if you haven't, now's your chance.
This Pride Month, Billy is hosting a complimentary
that means free
hair affirmation station at Happy Place Studio in New York City, where you can get your body hair styled and dyed.
For me, expressing myself through my hair is such an important part of feeling confident in my appearance as a queer person.
Not only does dyeing my hair make me feel empowered, it helps affirm my gender identity too.
Dyeing our hair together has always been a bonding experience, and having this opportunity at a salon and has just been really exciting and fun.
The Democrats must be getting desperate because they're sending celebrities to door knock and hug constituents in the swing states. Here is Hanoi Jane Fonda door knocking in Michigan.
I've never done this for a president. I've done it for, I had an ex-husband who came from Royal Oak, Michigan. Ooh. I've done it for him. But I've never done it for a president, but this is most important.
Oh, definitely.
We have to get them elected.
Talking about kooky celebs, remember when Howard Stern was edgy and cool? Me neither, I'm not 100. Stern is only getting worse. Listen to this bile-filled rant about Trump supporters.
I hate the guy. I hate the people who vote for him. I think they're stupid. I do. I'll be honest with you. I have no respect for you.
Now to one of the Democrats' biggest celebrity backers, Puff Daddy P. Diddy, Sean Combs. He has many names and is now facing many serious charges. But it wasn't long ago that P. Diddy was endorsing Democrats, raising money for them and running vote campaigns. He was so prolific and effective that Jimmy Kimmel wanted him to run for president. Remember this?
Maybe you could be president. Do you ever think about anything like that?
No. What about you?
Yeah, and I wouldn't do a better job, but I think I would, I would, if you agreed to run for president, I would be happy to be your running mate. Let's put it that way, all right?
Now to CBS, where a reporter had this triggering news for lefties about the battleground state of Nevada. It seems nowadays Nevada is MAGA country.
But what was really incredible is in every single restaurant of the people willing to talk to us, we could only find one Harris supporter in every restaurant. And we left no stone unturned. I approached every single person.
Now, every now and then, CNN allow a lone figure from the centre-right to appear on one of their panels to be typically bashed by lefties. But here, Scott Jennings manages to extract from the CNN crew that they know the bloodbath lie is a lie, but they allow it to be aired daily without correction or context.
It is said by every Democrat working for or around her campaign every day on this network and every other one. The bloodbath thing is stated every single day.
Okay, let me
But my point is, dictator, bloodbath, eliminate Constitution.
Hold on, let's just clear this up. You're referring to Trump's use of the word bloodbath when he was talking.
And what was he talking about?
I'm going to explain it to people because I think there's confusion about this. Use of the word bloodbath when he was talking about, vehicle manufacturing jobs in the United States. Vice President Harris improperly and unfairly mischaracterized that as him saying there would be a bloodbath if he were elected. However, she did not say that if Trump were elected, there would be a bloodbath. She did not say
I know you have interviewed and had people out here and have watched the same coverage I have. The bloodbath garbage is it is a pillar of the Democratic campaign against Trump, as is dictator, as is eliminate the U.S. Constitution.
And here is Don Lemon on CNN spewing a bunch of lies and hyperbole, including the aforementioned bloodbath lie. This is all to show that the assassination attempts against Trump are, well, his own fault.
Crooked Joe, Crooked Hillary, Crooked Kamala, Comrade Kamala, deranged Jack Smith, bird brain Nikki Haley, bloodbath if he's not elected. There won't be another election if he's not elected. Bringing drugs or bringing crime, they're rapists, poisoning the blood of our country, destroying the blood of our country, which was something that was Hitler-esque. Communist, Marxist.
Donald Trump was today a panelist on Gutfeld, a top-rating late-night show on Fox News, and he was in great form, even joking about the latest attempt on his life.
I always said golf is a very dangerous game.
If they had told you that the shooter was there, would you have tried to take him out with your 3-wood?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. If I knew. Actually, the Secret Service did a great job. They saw the barrel of a gun, big gun.
Yeah.
And it came out through bushes. And how many people would see that? He really was very exceptional.
And he spoke about how incredibly lucky he has been in both these assassination attempts, or perhaps it's something more than luck.
Fortunately, so far, I've been very lucky, or something is greater than all of us.
Ooh.
It is. Something is up there. Someone is up there, maybe watching over us. I think he's voting for you.
Yeah. It's funny. I always thought the most dangerous job was feeding The View. But you bring up God, and you've almost been killed twice. Do you think more about your own mortality and what happens after you move on?
Yeah, not about mortality, but I do think more about God because, Butler was really the greatest of all miracles. If I'm not looking over there, and I mean a full turn, exactly 90 degrees, I wouldn't be here right now. Mm-hmm. And your ratings would be a little bit lower, perhaps.
Yeah.
Now let's bring in Sky News contributor Kosha Gator. Kosha, that was quite the performance from the former president.
Indeed, he really was in great form. A little bit of humor, very relaxed, humility in terms of talking about divine providence, if that was at play over here. And it just goes to show again, President Trump really has a lot of range. I think that's underrated about him, where he can go from a late night comedy format like this to long form podcasts with younger Gen Z type talent, to his short form tweets that he's famous or infamous for, to everything else in between. And that is a very important asset in this noisy media landscape that we live in, coupled with the fact that mainstream media is such a gatekeeper for him. He really has a way of getting his message and his personality through, and that's why he is where he is.
I do wonder whether he's going to come back to X completely. He's got just tens of millions of followers there. He's persisting with Truth, which I know is a business that's now enormous, multi-million-dollar business, but the audience is on X, and I wonder as we get closer to the election whether he's going to be more prolific on that side. Now, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has released a new campaign ad outlining his plans to work alongside Trump on tackling America's broken food and pharmaceutical system. Here's just a little bit of the ad.
In 2004, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was the darling of liberals in the Democratic Party establishment, an environmentalist unafraid to sue the biggest and most powerful polluters in America. But then, the Democrats began to abandon the ideals he believed in, like peace, freedom of speech, honest government, and the working class. The rank-and-file Democrats didn't realize it at first, but over the years, the DNC became the tool of big money, the war machine, and the very corporations Kennedy had battled his entire career.
Kosha, how do you see the RFK Jr. endorsement? Trump is seeing both RFK. It's time for lefties losing it. Here is a lefty well and truly losing it, claiming that telling him you're voting for Donald Trump is among the most dehumanizing things you can do. The narcissism, the entitlement here is off the charts.
Oh, I'm not transphobic, but what exactly? You're about to tell me the most dehumanizing thing I've ever heard you believe about trans people? You're about to tell me you're voting for Trump? You're about to tell me that you don't think trans women should use the women's bathroom? If you need to put a disclaimer and that but, maybe keep that thought to yourself. Maybe let's try and think of another thought.
Fake nails and teal eyeshadow don't make you a woman. XX chromosomes do. I don't write the rules. Talking about entitled and narcissistic, check
That's
out
right,
this
Jay, you
British
tell 'em that.
lady having an almighty meltdown because a polite driver called her Miss. You see, she doesn't identify as Miss.
I'm telling you, it's a frigging problem.
And I'm saying to you, thank you, miss. And then all of a sudden you start to be angry.
Why would you say thank you, miss? I don't.
Because I'm trying to be polite.
But how do you know I identify as a miss? I might be a miss.
Identify it.
I might be something else.
I don't know. I'm not asking for identification ID. I'm just saying thank you,
Well, I
miss.
think it was disrespectful.
How is it disrespectful?
Because you don't know me. I've literally just got in your cab.
Yeah, and you said nice
I've been
car,
in
and
the
then I say
car
thank you, miss.
5 minutes.
Okay.
And you
Okay.
call me miss when it's not your place, is it? You're
It's
not
not
family. You're not a friend.
But I'm trying to be polite, saying thank you, miss.
I don't think that's polite. I think that's disrespectful.
Disrespectful to what?
To me.
How is it disrespectful for
How
you?
do you know I identify as anything?
What do you mean? Identify.
You know, like gender.
Gender.
Yeah.
What do you mean by
I might
gender?
be a they.
They,
who
no,
said that?
You're that. You're
I
a
might
woman.
be-
You're a woman over here. I can see you're my eyes.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
So that makes it okay.
Okay for what? You give me complimenting,
So
and then
if I were to say to
I give you
you-
thanking.
If I would say to you, "Thank you, Mister," do you
Yes.
think that's all right? You
Of
don't
course.
think that sounds disrespectful?
Usually people in England using English, they say sir. So maybe you say sir. I don't know. Mister is okay, but maybe you don't have educations, or maybe you only say
Oh.
Mister.
So
I don't know.
Okay.
That poor dude isn't paid enough to put up with that craziness. It's so crazy that I'm suspecting it's some sort of a setup, but these people do actually exist. Now, crazy sums up this next clip.
Mother, I hate this mother. No, Sam, that's not how we do it. Let me show you how we take care of the creature. Let me show you how we take care of the creature. Go, Rita! Get up! Get up! Get up! Rita! That's how it's done. Yeah! Okay, calm down.
How clever to destroy your own property.
Using a
Yeah,
metal
that's really going to
bat
show
on an
BB who's
electronic
boss.
television, which can kill
Now,
her.
you have to give
I know, that was
Charlie Kirk
just
credit
beyond
here. Not only
ignorant.
does he go to
Oh my
college
God.
campuses and
That was
seeks to have
beyond ignorant.
dialogue with the lefties,
Welcome back,
but
ladies
he
and gentlemen. We're
manages
coming
to
right
keep
back
his
in now.
cool
Next
and his
break will
manners,
be in about
even
an
when the
hour. We'll be actually
lefties
playing
are
some
as
music, but
obnoxious and
we just like
odious
listening
as
to this
next
crazy
dude who
lady. She is.
asks him what drug he's going to overdose on if Trump
She
loses.
gets some crazy stuff on here sometimes. Oh wait, I like this guy too.
What illicit you can overdose on? So if Trump wins, what are you gonna do to yourself? I don't know. Probably move to the Netherlands. I don't want to deal with them. Can you answer the question though? Snowflake. I hope that answer the question, Snowflake. I hope Trump wins. Kamala
Answer
might
the
win.
question,
Let me tell you what
coward,
happens.
coward.
So let me tell you what happens. If Kamala Harris wins, which she might, unlike you, I will not flee my country. I will go back to work the next day if Kamala Harris wins. And you might be right. Kamala might win. It might be too much. But I'll be able to look my daughter and my son in the eye and say, I did everything I possibly could to make sure that this country remained free and prosperous for you guys, and that I gave it all on the line. But
Good
you
luck
might,
with that, buddy. Kamala sweep. Kamala sweep.
See, this is what happens when you don't discipline your children. Imagine hiring that dude one day. Now to a young woman who
Hiring that
doesn't
dude
need
one
a
day.
job. She didn't even
Dude
need
get
school.
smacked
She was too
upside his
busy
head.
gallivanting around the
Full
world,
shit.
telling
Can you
presidents
try
and
to
prime
get her on
ministers
the
how to
show?
run their countries.
You know what? We
And
get
now
her
Greta
the
Thunberg
contact
is here to
information,
tell
or we
us
might be able
why
to get her
her
on. We have a big enough
anti-Israel
audience that she'd probably
crusade
come
is
on.
linked to climate change.
She's
in Palestine and all over the world.
we send to
The
one of
fight against
our
colonialism and corporations'
where the hell
destruction of the
everybody go?
planet are
Oh, there you
intrinsically
are.
linked.
Oh no, not
Look
her.
at
Wait, I
Chevron.
can't look at her. Where is I
Everyone
gotta
knows
turn
that
this
Chevron
off.
is one of the world's
Oh my
biggest
God,
climate
no!
criminals.
I feel
But the oil
violated.
giant is also fueling Israel's genocide in Palestine. As Israel
the hell
bombs
is it?
hospitals, homes, and schools in Gaza, Chevron supplies them with energy from 2 Israeli-claimed gas fields in the Mediterranean, making millions in the process. Ending Israel's genocide in Gaza and Israeli apartheid is a climate justice issue. Israel is destroying Palestinian lives, but also destroying Palestinian lands and resources through its warfare and
Boy,
industries
she's a
that
special
pollute
kind
and
of stupid,
destroy
huh?
the environment.
She's a bitch.
We cannot stand by and do nothing.
Oh dear, just like her
But she never went to
global
school.
warming nonsense.
Think about
Just about
it.
every word she utters there is devoid of sense.
Didn't she
facts.
drop out like 14
But
or something?
remember, that didn't
Something
stop
like that.
several world leaders from allowing.
Anyway, guys, because I hope y'all enjoyed it. We'll have to clean that up off our tape because they won't let us monetize video if it's on there. They might even get pissy and give us a strike, so we got to be careful. Might have to put it on private mode. But anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed it. She's always fun to listen to. She's on Sky News. You can catch her there. She's a couple times a week. She is she
I
is
love
kind
her.
of funny. She is.
I love her.
What do you mean Candace Owens? No, she's not Candace Owens. No, she's not. Candace is good too. I like Candace too. And we do play some of her stuff on here too. And I might look and see if they've got something available. You know who else I like? Well, let me see if I got his name right here in front of me. I just seen it. Shay Michael, I think is his name. He's a CNN. He's a Republican, I think, but he's on CNN and he's good, man. He's a little black guy. He don't take no shit. I like him. He does a good job over there, and he stands up to everybody who comes in. Why won't he give me his thing here? Hold on, no, I just seen it in front of me a minute ago. Trump and his allies prepare to retake power. Oh yeah, that's him right there. She Michael. It's SHE Michael Singleton. He's got his shit together. I listened to him a couple times now. At least a dozen times, and he talks a good talk, and he don't back down when he thinks he's right. And Carolyn, he's a black guy. He hosts with this black lady and these other two, and they're good. It's a good show. No, it's supposed to be a liberal show, but he f's it up, so it's not exactly a liberal show. It's he kind of tosses the wrench into the works, I guess to say. But we got a lot of stuff to cover tonight. First off, real quick, what's the odds that first off Trump and Putin's going to use nukes, or Joe Biden will get a nuke to Zelensky before Trump takes presidency? What do y'all think?
I think that today Zelensky said he was willing to give up Crimea and other places to end the war.
No, not exactly. He said that he would be willing to end the war with the stipulation that he'd be able to negotiate to get those lands back that Russia has.
Yeah.
Including
So that's not what
Crimea.
I read. I read that he
That's what I
wants
just heard it just
protection of
before
NATO.
coming back on the show
but-
at like 7 o'clock. So
Yeah, no, I read.
They're willing. He's willing to negotiate on those other places.
Yeah, well,
So,
we
we'll
carried.
see.
Matter of fact, it's one of the articles we carried tonight. That's one of the ones that's on the list. If you go on one, or if you're watching us on Facebook or somewhere, or anywhere that you could see us, you'll see the list of topics we had for tonight. Different. There's always a bunch of links, and so he wants everything back. See, but I said this from day one, and I've been saying this publicly for a long time, hoping it'll get out on the big airwaves and get around out there. So I think what they should do is make Russia give back the territory it took now. But I would say, look, dude, Crimea is ours. You don't want to start World War III over this, but so why don't we do a English Chinese thing? Why don't you just
the
lease
Hong
it from
Kong
us?
solution.
Yeah, lease it from us for 200 or 300 years at a good rate, and you and I will turn Crimea into one of the best cities ever seen anywhere in Russia or in the Ukraine. And really,
What's so important about Crimea?
Well, Crimea is not
it's
a
the
city.
it's the Black Sea port is what it is.
It's where Russia has their sub bases.
It's the Black Sea port. That's important. Without that, they have no access to that side of the world.
It gives them a second access point to the Atlantic, whereas before they have one access point.
Yeah, way at the top of their country and
And they had to go through Greenland, Iceland, and between, and they can't get through it without us knowing about it. Hell, they can't move any of their stuff without us knowing about it. To be honest,
well, sometimes they gotta have icebreakers to get out of there anyway, so it gets ice locked.
Well, not if you're a sub.
Well, no, not yet. That's true. Not if you're a sub, but subs have to come up sooner or later. Man. What's the Jamie? Putin swears he'll use a nuke if Joe Biden gives the Ukraine a nuke.
Yeah, and I think Biden's going to do it. I think Biden, if it happens, he's not that stupid.
No, he ain't that stupid. But I think it's somebody else.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's stupid enough to give them nukes, but someone's going to tell him to do it anyway.
That's the way I look at it.
Oh, Jimmy Jane, where are you from? Oh, Wyoming. Hey, what up there? You freezing you know what's off yet? I know it gets cold up there, man. Look, last time I drove through Wyoming, they got these big wooden things all strewn up and down the highway so they can direct the snow where they want it to go when it falls. There's so much snow falls there. They even have houses every 30 or 40 miles in case you get stranded that you can make your way that has generated power so that you can live if the snow gets you. I mean, it's crazy.
First, I think they're called Walmart. I've seen them.
I don't know if they got a Walmart there. There's only 500,000 people in the whole state, man. And it's a big state.
I've seen as much as 4 feet, and we were at a ski hill. We were away from our house, and our neighbors across the street, after the 4 foot of snow fell, they took a picture of our house, and all you could see was our mailbox and like half of the front door.
Pennsylvania's getting it right now. Erie, man. You get
Erie.
Like 3 to 5.
That's lake effect snow. That's not the same thing. They get. I mean,
drive to it is the same
Buffalo
thing.
gets 16 feet of snow and one falling, and then the next night they get 16 feet more.
Well, you know what?
They build tunnels in the snow. They don't plow it away. They build tunnels in it to get to and fro.
If you look, they're calling for 2 feet of snow for the Buffalo Bill game this Sunday.
Wow. Another snowball.
Makes it interesting, man. You get those nice hot wings.
Oh, so wait, now since we're on that side of in the Asian part of the world, let's talk about this for a minute. So Taiwan says today that look, we're ready to discuss transferring the 2nm transfer the chips back to the United States for major production here. And I think they want to like their companies here and get them out of the reach of China. Removing them completely. Because one of the reasons China is so hot on wanting to get Taiwan is to get their hands on those chips. They really just want to get their hand, even though China's got some pretty advanced chips, but nothing like these. And they really want to get their hands on them. So I would have figured by now they would have found somebody to sell them.
We got the best, man. Those sour cream and onion chips. You
Oh,
can't
yeah.
beat those.
No,
Nothing
bet
like that in China.
China can't eat them things.
China
anyway,
got
right?
that Hunan. Sweet and spicy or something.
What's that? We have quite a few listeners in China. Well, we got quite a few Asian people in the United States that listen to us. Well, you know, it's like anything, any other country. See, Americans can kind of get each other's sense of humor whatever state you happen to be in, because we're basically Americans. But when you get other countries, even sometimes Canadians, since our sense of humor and their sense of humor is not always, they look at you like, what are you, stupid? Or you look at them like, what are you, stupid? And the same thing with the Brits or the Germans or the Russians or the Chinese, because some things that we think funny, they think is funny. And, and sometimes certain way you say things means something different to them than it does to us.
Like Justin Trudeau, to us, he's like really funny. To Canadians, they're pissed off.
Well, it's because he's inept.
They don't want him.
Trudeau sucks, man.
We have an inept president. Are you pissed about that? I am.
And it is Justin Castro. Y'all might as well pronounce his name correctly.
Yeah.
Justin Castro Trudeau.
There's no question whatsoever.
Castro Jr. Yeah.
You know, he is Fidel's child. There ain't no doubt about it. So this is some of the best shit ever here. So whatever her name is, what is it? Who is it? What's his name that's in charge right now? Raphael? No, not Raphael. Raquel or something. I'm saying his name wrong.
Hey Google, who's in charge of Cuba?
Britney Spears.
According to Wikipedia, Miguel Diaz-Canel. Miguel Diaz-Canel for
Miguel.
Latin American Spanish.
Hey Google, stop. Miguel Canal. He's running the country.
I don't understand.
He said, "Shut up, bitch." That's what he said.
Why can't Canada just be part of the United States?
Oh wait, you didn't see the new map? Oh come on, you didn't see. I'm about to go find this map. So okay, there's a new map after this election. I love this map. So you got Canada, okay, and then coming down all the way down the west coast, you've got you've got Oregon and Washington and California. That is now part of Canada. And then you've got the upper East Coast. That's now part of Canada. And then the United States got whatever two provinces is right there above the Great Lakes. And then they got Illinois. And then that was the new map. That was the new America. It was crazy looking at it. But it's true because that's about how it is, how versus liberals versus conservatives in this area. It's because there's a lot of red going around right now. What's that? Canada's going to kick Trudeau out. He's on his way out. I mean, I don't think
he's going to gain re-election.
I just seen the Ottawa elections.
If all of Canada comes into the United States, promising to be Republican for 10 years.
Yeah. Well, I watched the Ottawa election just the other day. It pretty much went anything but liberal. You got not Toronto. What's the other one?
Canadians don't want to be part of the U.S., man. And
Quebec does. Quebec would join tomorrow. Quebec would join tomorrow. It's they're Acadians anyway. I mean, they got relatives in the United States. All of half of Louisiana is related to them people. So it's a little different from the end. They've always been. Even Michelle and I will tell you that. They've always been different than the rest of them and them French-speaking people. They don't even speak real French people. Is what they speak Acadian French. Yeah, they speak Acadian French, a whole different kind of French. But it would be cool. We could say that what really needs to go on is we just need to hiccup and take over Mexico and Canada by accident. Oh wait, what happened? Oh,
we don't want Mexico, do we? I mean,
yes, we want Mexico. Mexico's got a lot of stuff we need.
Hey, look, that's another way to stop the immigration problem.
We wouldn't be able to afford.
Do you know how short of a wall it would be? So the wall we got built right now, if we took over Mexico and we went to the bottom of it, we could run the same wall like back and forth. What do you think? 100 times, 500 times.
There's so much poverty there, it would destroy our country.
No, we can handle that, man. We know how to turn that shit around.
There's a lot of good farm country in Mexico, dude.
You got to keep them independent, and you got
Ford's down there. There's like five major. There's 5 major car companies down there now. That's where all our cars come from. Is from Mexico. They used to come from Japan. Now they come from Mexico.
You can't make them part of the U.S., man.
Well, they're like 70-30s.
That's the kiss of death, right there.
No, man.
Some of the cars are like 70-30-10. Like 70% is done in Mexico, 20% is done in Japan, and 10%.
You just want to keep things the way they are and strengthen our borders. If Mexico, they should stop all those people. Because those people are invading their country too,
No, they don't really care because they're coming here or going. So, and then you don't even let them stay here. So when you take over Canada, you take about half the population of Canada, which is about 140 million now or something. So you take about half of them, and you send that 70 million up to go live in Canada. Because Canada Canada's got all that land and nobody living there, man. We got to get some people up there. So just kind of spread it out, and then you just block off the border.
For Canada.
Yes, we do.
It's so cold up. Nobody wants to be up there.
Know this now. There is no way for planet Earth to survive with a fractured government system. It just can't.
No one wants to.
Somebody's got to rule everybody.
Those people are like, oh, look at where it's cold. They're freaks, man. You know what I mean? No one likes it. Talk to anybody in Canada when it's cold. They're like, "Oh God, it's so cold. I hate it."
So what? Not anymore. Actually, you know, it's funny. That's funny because you know we got a few hosts up there. Now that they got houses, you know, they didn't have air conditioners because they need them before. But guess what? They need them now. Say thank you, climate change.
Yeah, but our hosts don't live up in Saskatchewan. They're kind of close to New York and all that, you know.
No. Laura Lee lives in Saskatchewan. I'm pretty sure.
Laura Lee's Thunder Bay, man. That's just the other side of Minnesota, whatever the hell it is. You know?
Minnesota.
whatever the hell it is.
We're not allowed to talk about Minnesota.
Michigan,
man.
right? It's like the other side of the Great Lake up there.
We're
So
not
it's
allowed
not
to talk about
exactly
Minnesota.
like Saskatchewan. You know what I mean?
That's the one. You know, that was so funny because I had a cell phone about 10 years ago. And every now and then you'd get a ping and it would tell you we were in Saskatchewan. Well, okay, not exactly in Saskatchewan. We were 5,000 feet above Saskatchewan.
Mm-hmm.
And this happened on a few occasions. I documented every time we did. We took pictures of it and all. It's on the Alien Enigma site. I was like, what the hell? I'm like, this phone is losing its mind. Because I mean, I'd be sitting there looking around. I'm in my house watching TV or on the radio. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? It's just like all fake. No, man, come on. Oh, it was insane. But anyway, enough about all that crap.
It's like 50 below zero there, man. You can't even use like wood burning stoves when it's that cold.
Getting back to the chip, are we getting these chips back? Can Donald Trump actually get a manufacturing bringing back our F-35, F-22, all of our major chips back to the United States? The Aurora chips have everything made here, and just bring the Taiwanians over to do it.
You would think if it's a top secret program before they come out, where were the chips being made before then? They can't, you know. I mean, just think about
They've been
that.
being made in Taiwan for about 2 decades now.
Well, it's what I'm saying. You don't have a small third world country making your top secret computer chips next to one of your biggest rivals.
Well, we've always figured that, you know, it's through force, peace through force, because attacking Taiwan is the same as attacking the United States. So, you know, do you want to go there? That's the real question. Is that somewhere?
Well, I mean, at one point China was lining up troops on the Taiwan-China border. So
yeah.
I would say, yeah, they're ready.
Yeah, they were. And then we sailed one, I think it was a California class through the strait, and they were like, oh, okay, we're going home now. That was the end of that. Because all that was that's a cruise missile submarine. Actually, somebody goes, well, so why are they scared of cruise missile? It only holds 90 or 100, true, with a range of explosives, but you just don't know if any of those are carrying what?
The special edition warhead.
Yeah, tactical nuke. And
or even a theater-wide nuke. I mean, they may not need.
And they don't even have to have nukes these days. They got some pretty serious bombs that we
could be a neutron bomb, could be a bunker buster.
So, you know, that's just a dangerous game to be playing with one of our. And we've told Taiwan, not just Taiwan, we've told Japan, Hawaii. I'm sorry, I don't know where that came from. We've told the Chinese. I don't know where it came from. We've told the Chinese that we will defend Taiwan. Not just us, our allies have too. And lately, Britain, I don't know what's going on in Britain. Britain has grown a set the size of like Mount Everest now. So they're basically saying if Hong Kong wants to be free, China needs to let them go.
UK's preparing for war. Apparently, that's what.
Yes, they are. That's what I saw.
You know what I mean?
They are up in the ante. They're even talking about kicking out their leadership and getting more in there because they're pissed. I mean, I don't know what they're pissed about, but they're pissed
because Putin said
they look at Hong Kong as not just lost territory. It's a colony. They although they had that agreement with China, they gave it up. They never really wanted to.
Putin threatened the UK last week with that missile, you know.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he's threatened him a couple of times now, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why they're mobilizing.
And you see, that shows you the difference between a wussy for a president. I was going to use the other word, but I'm going to be nice. And the man, because I already can tell you what's going to happen. If Trump would have been president, He said, "Excuse me, tomorrow morning, then there won't be no more Moscow. They just won't be Russia." And he said, "You drop a nuke on London, we're nuking your whole freaking country." And right now, I didn't know this, so the Navy and the Air Force got together and put this out yesterday. Currently, 76% of the Navy's fleets and ships are within reach of China, and 52% of our Air Force is within reach of China with one tank of fuel.
Yeah.
That means that we can wreak ungodly amounts of havoc.
And how long
That's
can
that same
a aircraft carrier,
fuel.
U.S. aircraft carrier, keep its aircraft afloat? I think it's something on the order of with one. If they fill up the entire boat with all of its supplies, you can keep those planes in the air for 2 weeks.
No, you can keep them much longer than that.
Oh yeah, B-52 bomber, man, that thing.
So-
B-2 bomber, they can just go and they
Yeah,
refill
but
up.
they don't fly off of carriers.
Yeah, but
No,
but see,
they
the way it's
refill
set
up
up
in
now
there.
is in the old days when we had to carry diesel fuel, you could only keep a flight for about a month and a half, maybe 2. Current nuclear carriers, the Nimitz could keep a flight from anywhere from 6 months to a year, depending on where they were and if there were options for refueling. Because believe it or not, in different parts of the world, the Navy has refueling stations. And as a matter of fact, they had one on TV the other day. It was a banned one from World War II, but they have these planes all over. They're like strategic reserves, basically. And they just pull up, fuel up, and go on their way. But when we talk about this kind of stuff, F-35s and F-22s are probably flying on a hybrid F-6 maybe fuel. F-5 that's a hybrid maybe. It's probably more like some kind of new F-6 fuel or something. So those would have to be in place. But and also we always have the option to send in planes from refueling from all over the place because the carrier don't have to be refueled. But
we should be talking about her.
yeah, well, to keep like the Kennedy or the Ford, they're supposed to be able to keep a flight up for 1 year without having to.
No, I mean the girl on the screen. If you keep her up,
Yeah, I know.
you're gonna start talking about her, man.
Oh, okay, we're gonna. They'll stop staring at this poor woman. She's just trying to make a living, man. Damn,
It's that mustard,
perverts.
man.
These are perverts up here in the screen tonight.
French's
We're not the
yellow
ones who
mustard.
left her up there on the screen for a half an hour.
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah.
Joe likes her.
But I wasn't looking. I'm not on the screen with y'all all the time.
She's Sky News in Australia, man. That's
She's
like
an
the
Aussie,
opposite.
I've always liked Aussies, man.
The Sky News in the UK is totally different. They're all liberal.
She's good, man. We got to get her on the show, dude.
We
really
can probably
do.
get her on. We can probably get her on. We'll have to get some good contact information on her. Not something that's going to bounce around. But she's on Sky News, so they're not huge, not anywhere else. So we should be able to get hold
if
of
you
her.
have IMDb and a paid account, you could probably get her at least to her direct agent. That's about
Well, you just call the station and say, hey.
Yeah, that might work. But if you get to her agent, you might have a better chance.
Just call the producer.
She's probably going to want money to be on the
Yeah,
show.
yeah, lots of money, dude.
Yeah.
Lots
So
of money.
you call their producer and they're happy to be like, okay, yeah, because
But that's not how it is in the
publicity for
real
them.
world. So when people talk about if they're going to go on a show or not, okay, you can talk about money, or you can talk about listenership. So what do you actually want? So you generally, when you ask for money for a show, it's on shows that have like 100,000 listeners or 50,000 listeners or 25,000 listeners. Because the more listeners that go out there, the more the show is doing you a favor than you're doing the show a favor.
That's why Dr. Phil's going to be on here next week. You know what I mean? Dr.
Well,
Phil.
Mitchie and Kay Koo, Neil deGrasse Tyson and them have all been on. Paul Levette's been on. We've had Kennedy, Senator Kennedy on. We had Senator Kennedy on. It's so Louisiana senators had no problems coming on, but
Jeff and I have had Nick Redford on 6 times, and he.
we've had as far as
Halloween
name recognition goes, we've had some huge names. I mean,
Yeah.
and as far as like authors and stuff, we've had everybody who's got any movies out there.
You just had that parade. Man, it's got a parade going on.
Oh yeah, well, that's the LA parade. Yeah, that's the president of Galaxy Press. Week before last, we had the interrogator on for Iraq. It's just, I mean, we do a lot of good stuff. It's just there's some stuff.
Speaking about good stuff, Joe, you can actually, if you wanted to, get John to get you an interview with Kevin and Brian, because their show just started, the Dune Prophecy Show, and the first episode didn't suck.
I kind of feel like the people that listen to this hate Hollywood, though. You know what I mean?
I'm one of those.
So wait,
I do hate Hollywood also. I think
who are you talking about? You talking about Kevin J. Anderson? Is that who you were talking about?
Kevin Anderson and Brian Herbert, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Kevin was on not that long ago. But I'll get John to do it. Actually, I'll get Carmen to do it.
Because I hate Hollywood. I was being, I'm listening to this guy talking. I'm like,
Oh,
Jeremy
don't forget
Renner. Wasn't that
that
the guy
guy.
that ran himself over with his snowplow?
Come on, tell me you wouldn't want to geek out with Kevin Anderson and Brian Herbert.
I don't know who
I've geeked out with him. I've geeked out with him on air, and I've geeked out with him in person.
Who are they?
Who are they?
They are
Brian
the writers
Herbert is the son of
New
Frank
Dune.
Herbert, who wrote Dune, and Kevin
wrote
Anderson
Dune.
is one of the winners of Writers of the Future.
You see, I got nothing to say
Together,
to
they
them,
wrote
though,
a lot
man.
of the prequel books to his father's Dune universe.
I would have nothing to say.
So Jay, what I'd have to do is because John would want to be there, we'll have to do it on the Arthur's Quill, because these guys would be bored out of their minds. They'd be like, what are you all talking about? Oh my God, just shoot me now.
Yeah, I'm
No,
out.
you're right. You're right. If you got somebody from Star Trek, I'd lose it. I would lose it.
We need to get wait. Who's the girl that plays Vernon? We need to get her on the show.
Well,
Jesus.
Sean, I went on the Writer's Quill with Joe one Saturday, because he requested all of us to do that with him. So I did it, and it was awesome. I got to talk to one of my boyhood fantasy dudes, Larry Elmore, who was one of the artists for D&D.
Larry's cool.
Which is a game I've been playing since I was 13, and I mean, Larry and I geeked out for about an hour. I mean, we just kind of.
Sean, you would like Larry.
Joe didn't get a word in for an hour.
Didn't we have him on already?
Yeah,
We had him
he's
on
gonna
this show.
you like him because he's an old.
Larry's awesome.
He's an old Kentucky boy. He's like us. He's a
Yeah,
little two of
I
us.
met
Yeah.
him.
He can
He
tell
was
some
on the
serious
show.
stories.
He talked-
Yeah.
He did the artwork on the D&D books, right?
Yes,
the
that's
artwork
good.
he
Oh,
did.
you were
Yes,
on that
he did.
show then? Yes.
Yeah.
He's Larry's a lot of fun to talk to. He's a good
Mhm.
guy. He's just I like him. He's been a lot. Every time we've hung out together, he's a character and a half, man. He's just a lot of fun to talk to. What's that, Junior? I don't know. I was going to call him and then I forgot. I got the number from Carmen and I got tied up with something else when that second storm decided to go mess around in southern Florida. I got a lot of friends and customers who have properties down there, so I ended up getting down there for a while, looking around. Well, it was a lot of damage, but fortunately for my customers, there wasn't any, which sucks for me. But it's good for them. It was a weird storm. It was kind of a hit and
A
miss
little
storm.
off the subject here, but let's talk about Western North Carolina, where the Amish came down. They built these little houses for people to live in, and now their government, North Carolina's government, saying that they can't live in there because it's not up to code. And so they're not letting them live in them little houses, but they have to stay in tents. And it's like 30 some degrees down there.
Yeah, I thought there was something to do with religions that they could get away with stuff like that. They need to get a good lawyer is what they need.
I mean, come on, man. Are they that?
And they're not going to have enough people.
When I heard that, I was so pissed. I mean, literally. I mean,
see,
my God, it's cold
they
and
don't have
snow.
enough people. Yeah, and they should let them
It's
stay in
cold
the
and
place.
snow,
where
and
it's
they're
warm.
making them live in tents.
Yeah, and they shouldn't. They should let them stay. They should let them stay in a place. But that's the government wielding its power. It's endless use of corruption and power. That's all coming to a change pretty soon. Now, I've already seen. I got to say, it's like the chip thing. Trump's here, and I've already seen the Mexican president already back down off her stance. We can work this out. I've seen Trudeau all but say, "Let me give you a blowjob, there, Mr. Trump." So I've seen a lot of European tour.
What did he say to her for her to backtrack on everything?
He said, "I will cut off, and we will never buy another thing from you again And since 80% of your economy relies on ours, guess what? And then he did this. And that was the end of that conversation. Well, I mean, what was she going to do? By the time she could find enough people to sell to, they would be bankrupt. Plus, Trump would make all the big car manufacturers leave. He'd say, "Get your ass back in America, or we're not going to buy your cars anymore."
Tariffs, man. You start slapping tariffs on those companies. They save a ton of money by leaving the U.S.
The tariffs aren't specific, company specific. They are product or country specific.
You can put tariffs on companies who especially who ship their stuff to other countries, have it created, and then ship stuff back into the country, saving all that money.
You can tax the product that the company brings in. You can't. You're not necessarily taxing.
No, you can put a tariff on the company itself. Sure, people do it all the time.
I didn't know that. I thought it was either country specific or product specific. Like any country bringing in plums, for example, 25% tariff. Boom, extra money for the U.S.
Put it on countries. You can put it on companies. I mean,
I don't know. When they do it with the companies, though, I think they call it something different. I'd have to look it up to see.
Yeah, I think the word is embargo.
No, it's the same thing. It's not. It's not that either. But
no,
it's the same thing. It's a tariff, but it's they were just talking about this at the White House.
Well, but some of the percentages that Trump is talking are, I mean, come on, 25%. That is essentially the same as embargo. What country's going to bring in bananas?
Embargo means that you're not taking something at all. We buy nothing.
25% we might not take it. You're right about that.
Against Mexico, we would take nothing from them.
Yeah. So against a country that brings in like food, like bananas or some other exotic fruit to our country, they're not going to. How do you bring in a plant, a manufacturing facility that makes?
You see, the problem is that's not the problem. The problem is the World Trade Organization and their power that they have, especially over the United States, when it comes to any product that comes from anywhere. And then and once the IMF gives a country a loan, like when they gave Jamaica those loans, $9 billion, and of course Jamaica didn't pay them back. Now the WTO comes in and tells the farmers, well, you got to produce 25,000 worth of produce a year for you to be able to sell it. Otherwise, you're not allowed to sell anything at all, not even locally. So it's become like a thing like that about power and control. Globalization, right? Which is what Obama wanted, and a lot of other these Democrats were pushing for globalization. It's not their idea, but that's what the Soros group likes. That's what these other people like, So I don't know, man. I think that if you want to play ball, I think that Trump's going to solve quite a few problems before he's even in office, which is kind of funny. But
I don't know. I disagree. There is some disturbing news that I've read about Israel Hezbollah, and it seems that both sides are accusing each other of ceasefire violations, and apparently, there's an article from an hour ago that the Israelis had an airstrike within Lebanon after the ceasefire. So it appears the ceasefire may or may not be on.
It could be, but I mean that's been going on for how many years? It'll be going on well after we're dead. We'll all be dead. They'll still be battling it out there. But it has nothing to do with the price of roast beef and what I'm talking about in our home. You know what? In fact, I don't even care what happens over there because that's their problem. It's what they create. We're not the policemen for the world. We're not.
But if their problem escalates any further and more,
but we shouldn't be busy. We shouldn't be busy throwing billions of dollars at people either. So it's like you want to have these wars, okay, but you need to mete it out. I mean, when it comes to the United States, we should be responsible for ourselves first. And then, hey, if other people get they start getting bashed, then you have a group of countries come in, but not just the United States, and then try to solve the problem. But when it comes to us, that's a different story. And I think that we need to be strong and not weak. Well, and then the more we give away, the weaker we get. I think that we need to be able to help people, but do it realistically.
Well, I agree with you. I think, and I've been saying it for a while, I think the country, and no president has ever done this, the country needs to regain a defensive posture like it had pre-World War II. I mean, it sounds, standoffish, but like the country thrived. And then World War II came along, they had the willpower and the manpower enough to win the war.
We're self-sufficient.
With
You know?
self-sufficiency, right? Yes, we don't have self-sufficiency right now, and I think that's what we need to do. Is from a defensive posture, we can, with our budgets, if we're not, doing the stupid shit we are, giving billions of dollars away to our enemies, we should rebuild our infrastructure, sewers, schools, everything should get rebuilt. We should have, all of our kids should have new schools starting today with the money that our country makes, but they don't have it.
If they rebuilt the infrastructure, they could create an unbelievable amount of jobs, and then and literally make people rich, because the infrastructure is rotting. It's rotting.
You want to hear my infrastructure idea? If I were to be president, the country of Germany is, although much smaller, I think it's only like the size of Ohio or something like that. They have a thing called the Autobahn, which is a straight road, as straight as they can make it across their country, so you can get across rather quickly. And the minimum speed limit is 55 miles an hour. You can't go slower than that. You'll get a ticket. My friend's father got one. Anyway, my idea is to build a highway that's tiered, and lanes that have lane specific speeds, and you have 3 lanes going east and west, and each lane starts, the minimum speed limit is 55 miles an hour, and then the next lane over is 65 up to 75, and then the last
Fords.
is up to 85.
No Fords.
Right? And then you have a raised deck. Listen, you have a raised deck that you can get on. That's a toll road for sports cars only that can go 95 plus. Go however fast you want. You die, it's on you. And then underneath that, you have a double tiered, walled off section for freight, like big trucks. There's no reason our highways should share the roads with 53-foot trailers that weigh 90 and 100,000 tons.
It will cost too much to have.
When they flip over, they kill families. They kill 3 and 4 families at once, and that's not an exaggeration. A 53-foot trailer, if in a snowstorm, it rolls over on its side and is full, and there's 3 cars, an SUV, a regular car, and a big sedan, most of those people are going to die.
Yeah, but so rebuilding the infrastructure is a good idea.
It's a very good idea.
Bridges, tunnels, power systems, everything.
Traffic should not be with civilian traffic.
Most of our power systems in the U.S. are operated by flippy disks. Remember the 5.5 inch flippy disk?
I remember those.
And really 35-year-old computer software. So I mean, things need to be updated. Things need to be better, and they need to think more clearly when it comes to power, especially. But we'll see what Trump can do. He's got to be able to perform. I mean, he can only do so much.
We got to give him a chance to give him. Yeah, we got to give him a chance to take his rope and hang himself with it. But he started doing okay until COVID came around. Was COVID?
Yeah,
Joe's asked the question: was COVID an engineered, stifle to his administration? It worked.
The smartest thing he could have done was shut the borders down way early on. I mean, but then they criticized.
Oh, he wanted to. He wanted
yeah,
to.
They wanted to, but he didn't do it, and they criticized him on it.
He got halfway there, though.
He got criticized anyway. He went there. They criticized him because he wanted to do it.
He got criticized for being halfway there, and criticized for not finishing.
I think
he got criticized in the beginning because he said he wanted to do it, and everybody said, "No, you can't do that. You can't do it." Democrats were flipping out.
I think that people had
do it.
People had faith in the CDC, but they didn't realize what they were all about either.
Yeah.
I think that was eye-opening. That I mean, obviously the way the virus moved and it was very predictable. I mean, you didn't have to be a CDC.
How long did it take to get from China to all over the planet? How long?
Yeah, I mean, like I know in Wuhan, when people got sick, the Chinese government gave 700,000. They gave 1 million airline tickets out to people to leave the country, and 700,000 came here to the U.S. So, I mean, take that for whatever you want to take it as, and obviously the virus is going to move through the population that's not mobile, the sick, homes, elderly homes, whatever. You know what I mean? And that's what it did, and then it spread thereon. It moved around, and the West Coast was different. The virus on the West Coast was actually different than the one on the East Coast that hit. So, and then they melted together. I mean, but we got to see how it moved. We got to see who it affected most. We got to see how the population reacted, especially to being told what to
I
do.
don't think that was the actual test result they were looking for. I think they were looking to see what each country's infrastructure did. What did the police do? What did the firemen do? What did the health administrations do? Et cetera, et cetera.
A ton of
they
data.
were looking to see what the emergency management systems were like of all countries.
It was an economic killer, and then also I mean for China too, though, So, but
I beg to differ on it being an economic killer. The Home Depot raked in the COVID year 96.4 billion, and in Lowe's example, they raked in 26.2.
When I say economic killer, I'm
That's a
actually
lot
talking
of
about
money, Michael.
I'm talking
That's a
about just
lot.
people. I'm not talking.
Yeah, it killed the people. Yeah, it definitely did that.
Mm-hmm. It killed a lot of people, but it wasn't the pandemic. It was like the Spanish flu, World War I. That killed 50 million people
All right.
in just a couple of weeks. You got the whole planet.
Yeah, it was some of that stuff was just wicked.
I think Michael froze up.
Michael, did you get probed, man? Did the aliens get you? Oh man.
And then they get bailed out, but they didn't hire those people back. And now,
Look at the green glow around him.
now businesses are suffering. Look at the food supply. How many times now you see recalls for Listeria and E. coli and all these things that should be checked upon? And they're not.
McDonald's just had an E. coli scare a couple weeks ago.
They killed people. So Boar's Head, 10 people died, man. I mean, that's
Boar's Head had one. Yeah.
And
yeah, you know what sucks about Boar's Head? Look, y'all got a computer in front of you. Type in and see who the owner of Boar's Head is. No, really. Type it in and see who the owner
is. Is it Nancy Pelosi? Is that her picture up on the label?
No, type it in and see.
Let's see. I'm doing it. Who owns what is it? Boar's Head.
Boar's Head, yeah.
I know who owns Nathan's Hot. The Chinese own Nathan's Hot Dogs now, man.
Who owns Boar's Head Meats? Let's see. The Bronkhorst and the Bischoffs.
The what?
It's a part of an article. It says, but anonymity and secrecy have been central features of Boar's Head, a privately owned company run by two intensely guarded families, the Bronkhorsts and the Bischoffs.
I've heard of Bischoffs. I haven't heard of the other one, though.
I wouldn't be surprised if any of them were entangled with the Bilderbergers.
Well, the Chinese bought Smithfield Foods, and they make Nathan's hot dogs and other well-known, hot dogs and pork products. And that
they don't own Kraft yet, though. Thank God, Kraft is still out there.
I'm happy not to buy any of that stuff, man. And
I
you know what?
Stop buying Kraft macaroni and cheese, even if it gives me kidney stones. I'll tell you what, that stuff kept me alive through college. It's going to keep me alive till I die.
I'm lucky enough to live around the agricultural communities where I can get meat and all that. All the stuff that I buy is local, as much as possible anyway.
Yeah, we got Mennonite stores nearby. We got all kinds of good meats and delis nearby. There's at least 3 private farm guys that do their own butchery. You can go up there and buy fresh meat, and then there's other guys that do you get a deer, they'll dress it for you, and you tell them what you want, and they'll cut it for you that way.
You know what? Speaking of that, when you go to farm raised or regular farmers, I mean, the best move a person can do is go buy half a cow or a whole cow, and you have enough meat to last you for 6 to 8 months, and it will be a lot cheaper.
Yeah, I don't have enough freezer space for that.
Buy a freezer.
Yeah, you can freeze it down here for about $179.
Not to hold that much meat.
$179?
No, you could.
Holy crap. I have a big double door freezer in the house for my Samsung, so I could probably get a quarter cow in it, and one of the smaller freezers I could get another quarter cow in it.
That's the way to go, is buy half a cow.
Anytime I can, I buy big chunks when I can anyway.
The only thing about it is the farmer's going to charge you $3.40 a pound.
No, they get about $2,000 for a cow, somewhere around there.
Oh, we get far more than that down here for, man.
Yeah.
3 to 5. Yeah, 3 to 5,000 miles.
A lot of people buy half a pig or they buy a whole hog.
Yeah. You can do that down here too. Actually, most of the slaughterhouses you can go down to down here, and they'll do that kind of stuff for you. You can buy a quarter, you can buy a half, you can buy a whole if you got the room for it.
It's the most economic way of buying meat is going to a farmer.
What the hell is this? Coast to coast, learning from the death, alien abductions, and blood type coast.
Oh,
Joe, you should go on that show.
I've been on that's who they're talking about is me on that article. I've been on Coast a few times. I've been on Ancient Aliens a few times.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't say that out loud. I'm not supposed to be doing them kind of things when I'm doing news.
Well,
People.
I remember seeing you on Ancient Aliens, man. That
Oh,
was
I've been on
good. You're the
Ancient
only good
Aliens.
one on there. You know what? Those other people, some of them, I think that they can just go on and on and on about stuff they don't know what they're talking about. You actually have like real experience. You know what I mean? You know, I think that, especially with that George Tsoukalos, the guy with the crazy hair. You know,
George Tsoukalos, yes.
I watched him talk about the Book of Enoch and go on and on about all this purposeful stuff. Meanwhile,
Well read,
it was fantastic. It was fantasy writing during the Second Temple period. I mean, you know, Enoch had 2 sentences in Genesis. That was it. But they made up all these stories, all this stuff, and went crazy with it, you know, but it had nothing to do with Enoch. And I think that when you start breathing life into stuff like that, you can't be a serious person. You
Well, the
can't say,
story
okay,
Enoch he's talking about is one of the Dead Sea Scrolls, which is a book that was edited out purposefully by one of the councils of Nicaea.
Monks.
Yeah,
The original book, the oldest book that they know about the oldest Bible had, I think it was 164 chapters, and it was edited down to 80 something, and then the Nicene councils knocked it down to like 60. So I think the current Bible is like 60 or 70 some chapters, and the Ethiopian Bible is like 100 and
the Greek Bible's 50 books, Ethiopian 70 books. You know, Dead Sea Scrolls was information they found that more talked about the civilization at hand, the people in the village, what they did.
But there were several, like a dozen or so, whole books of just the Book of Enoch.
Well, I mean, the Book of Enoch was written in the Second Temple period by scholars who this is what they put together. This is what they thought was the truth about Enoch, but they really didn't know it. And it was fantastical writing. They took it from sentences in Genesis, is what they did, you know. So, but whatever, you know, it doesn't really make a difference because people are what they are today. You know,
Well, if you put all those books back into the Bible, it kind of changes the entire scope of it. So it's kind of sort of important to know the whole story, and we don't.
Well,
we don't have the entire book. They won't let him. I can't read Ethiopian.
it doesn't really matter though because
You could probably
the
get
message,
it, I guess.
the message is not in the Bible. You know, the message is in the person. You know what I mean? So the Bible.
Oh man, we could have a show on the Bible because I think that's the worst
We
book
already
out
are.
there.
We're having a show on Jesus. So
It's
kind
next
of a-
biggest bullshit
Friday,
story
it's
ever
a
told.
good
kind of a segue.
You know?
You're welcome, Joe. That was a good segue.
That was a
The
good
next-
segue.
The next bet, I'll tell you what, it needs to be rewritten or tossed out of the curriculum because
George Carlin, man, the biggest bullshit story ever told.
Yeah,
it is.
I get that.
yeah.
It is. It is the biggest bullshit.
They edited so much out of it that it makes no sense. Even when I was like 6 years old and having to read it for like I went to a Catholic school, we had to read it. We had the school I went to was called St. Raphael's. There was a church on one side of the school campus and then the school. And then on Fridays, especially during Lent, we all went to church. We all walked out of the school across the parking lot right into the church.
All right.
I'm not making that up. And but
I'm not making. I gotta say something here, and I repeat it all the time. Okay, if you look at the Bible, Lucifer was mentioned one time
yep,
in the whole Bible, right?
only once, and he's mentioned
Only
as a
once.
teacher.
Only once.
Mm-hmm.
And Satan was mentioned 12 times, 13 times. Okay.
Yeah, but aren't those in the New Testament only?
No, the Old Testament is when Lucifer.
So
Right,
the Old
but
Testament.
Satan. If I'm not incorrect, my knowledge of the Bible is that Satan is only mentioned in the New Testament.
No, there's
I
so
didn't say Satan. I said Lucifer's in Old Testament.
But he's
all
also.
right. I know this well, man. In the Jewish Bible, which is the Old Testament, Satan was mentioned as the accuser, and the accuser would say, "You did this," and blah, 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 more like a district attorney would be like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this." But years later, when Persian influences from Iran, from that region, got involved, when they conquered, this temple, that temple, and things were rewritten, that's when their versions of Satan, the devil, the different levels of Lucifer and whatever, Beelzebub and whatever, and then they all kind of came into play. So, but in the reality, it wasn't like that. When if you want to talk about the old Bible, but think about the Tao Te Ching, right? Not a religion. People tried to make Taoism a religion, but they couldn't do it. But the first thing the Tao Te Ching says is that the story that can be told is not the eternal story. I love that line because it means everything is bullshit. It means that all the stuff people say and all these things that they formulated, they're just a bunch of humans that don't have a clue except for the things that they experience.
Thank you, Mike. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny.
How I look at it. I mean, because I think personally, and I'm not a Satanist, I'm not a Luciferian, but I will tell you this. I think cause of man, Lucifer got a bad rap.
Yep, I agree.
He got a bad rap.
Lucifer, if you break the word down in the ancient Greece, means bringer of light, or one who enlightens. Or if you translate it to modern English, it probably would be teacher or professor.
Morning star. But here's what I look at it, and I'll stand by this if someone can prove it to me wrong. I believe Lucifer was sent down to keep an eye on Satan. I'm telling you.
You see, man, I don't see
He was definitely sent down as a supervisor
down.
of all the other angels that were sent down to teach us how to do, animal husbandry and growing crops and all that kind of stuff.
Who the hell is Beelzebub then?
That's a name that human beings came up with.
He's probably not in the Christian Bible, but in other books. But he's a demon.
So, like in the Bible, like the Book of John.
Hey,
right?
let me ask you this question: how can they say he's a demon? How can they actually say he's a demon?
There's stories all over the place from ancient Europe of demons, and there's artwork of them too.
Story. That's a story from somebody who decided.
Lucifer's an archangel, so regardless what he is, he's still an archangel.
He's a seraphim.
So, all right, but
whether
imagine,
he transformed into something else. But
let's talk about God for a second, the power of God, and when you start thinking of in terms of everything that happens, every second that goes by is creation. Every second, everything that all the things being created right now as we speak, throughout the universe, constant creation. That kind of power, you can't subscribe to a small hierarchy of people or angels or whatever. It's a real system of energy, and we all know that energy doesn't die, and everything is used. Even when the body dies, it goes back into dust, and it becomes a usable thing, and your soul goes on, and it's a living thing. It goes on, right? I think so anyway. But people have gotten so narrow about religion and what this one believes and that one believes, and then people get mad at it. Technically speaking, we're all Jews because it all started out that way, and Abraham was a Jew, and Noah was a Jew, and I mean, if you think about
Jewish.
If you think of all these people, and then there's not, Jesus was Jewish, and there's not much difference between Judaism and Christianity. There's actually very slight differences, but then people made it more different.
The Muslim faith.
Well, because Muslim, that came about so much later, and that was a religion that was viewed as.
Books.
But they viewed that as Satan. They viewed it as Satanism.
Part of their Bible.
You know,
Bible, Torah, and Quran.
But it was Muhammad that said an angel visited him, took him out into see future civilizations on the earth, going out into space, seeing other civilizations. The archangel Gabriel came to him, and I mean these stories are very. They silenced Muhammad at the end when his last couple of years of life. They didn't let him talk to anyone. He had things to say. They silenced him because the people that took what he wrote and was pushing it as a religion didn't want him to put a stop to anything they were doing. So, I mean, when you look at things in those terms, you know, you got to think, okay, how great could it be if it's being manipulated by man? Because God could never be manipulated by man. You couldn't even imagine it, you know? So
Yeah, no, I would imagine not. But what the thing that strikes me is that these stories, those three books, the Quran, the Torah, and the Bible, plus other stories throughout the world, and going back to Siberia, that they all tell stories of beings from, you know, somewhere else, not of Earth. I mean, that's clear that God, whatever God is, it's from
Native
somewhere
Americans,
else.
they all
That
have.
would have been
They all have a
the
story.
Anunnaki.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you read the Anunnaki Enuma Elish, Sean, you will be surprised how strikingly similar it is to the Pentateuch, or the first 5 books of the Bible, which are also very similar to the Torah and the Quran. So, and the Bible, the flood story rather, in the Bible, they do have that, but it's not Noah. The guy's name is Zeusudra. And there's also 2 other names. I can't remember their names, but they're really strange names. Not Noah. Think about that. There's 3 dudes in their story with that survived the flood. 3 families.
Every civilization tells of the flood, but
Right.
you know,
And of a sole survivor and his family, or very close friends and relatives.
Is there fact behind that there was a flood?
Okay.
Yeah,
There's
there's
fact?
geological evidence of flood
Or
all
was
over the
it,
planet.
or
Yeah,
was
so
it written by story by a human being?
Okay.
No,
No.
no,
Okay.
okay,
There's
so
2 things. There's 2
in the-
things here. Okay. First off, in different mountains around our world, you get up a couple of thousand feet, you can find
Above the
fish
tree
and stuff.
level.
Oh, yeah, you can find all kind of fish and stuff, not just over there, but over here too. But the real problem for the Bible is that the flood predates man and religion. It's a little older than what the
Allegedly, we
Bible
don't
gives
have a
it
time. We
credit
don't have
for.
an accurate timeline on it. However, this is fact that in the I believe it's the Andes, but wherever Pumapunku is and all that places in Bolivia and the mountains of Argentina, or is it Chile? Those ruins nearby are littered with a rocky, sandy, crustacean-y beach of seashells, but the seashells are fossils of creatures that no longer exist. How did they get up there? Had to be a flood.
Yeah, well,
Ocean water had to wash across the top of it. How did those buildings get destroyed? Something had to hit them. A big
but see,
wall of water
that wouldn't
would
have
do
worked
that.
either, because if it was creatures that were before, I mean, that were extinct,
They are
then
extinct. Not were extinct. They are and have been.
that's what I'm saying. They had been extinct for a long time, which
Yeah.
means the flood had already happened. They built on top of it. Something
an
else
advanced
happened and
civilization
uncovered it all.
flood this planet very easily.
Well,
especially
okay,
towards the end
good
of the
point.
ice age.
It doesn't mean the flood destroyed whatever buildings are there, but there ocean water went across those mountaintops. and
Yeah, but
deposited
what I'm saying is
sea
it was
life that died.
before. It was before their civilization, though. Most of the
Possibly,
sea
yes.
life found that is found high up dates back much earlier than what Noah's flood would be. And even at the best, all the ancient cultures knew about the flood long before the Christians did, or the Jews. I mean, since man could write, they were talking about the flood. So this is something ingrained in our memory, but something that probably happened. It probably happened at the end of the ice age. I would bet you money on the end of the last ice age, 15, 20,000 years.
If you
That's
put the
probably what
timeline
happened.
together,
I agree with the statistics. Most people agree it's at the end of the Younger Dryas. Absolutely.
if you put the timeline together, you could put Atlantis breaking apart because they believed it was the shelf that slipped under another shelf,
It didn't break
and also
apart. It shifted
inside the earth
in the
there's so much more seawater, and that water came up which flooded everything. So I mean, I don't know. I wasn't there, so I can't tell you,
No,
man.
I think it shifted position on the planet in such a way that was rapid and unexpected, and it's now Antarctica. You
The only
can't say
thing we
I'm
could
not
do
right
is
because no one's found it yet. If we do find it and I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. But I think it's
the only
Antarctica.
thing we
So do a
could
lot of
do
other people.
is kind of go by the information that's at hand at the time. You know what people wrote about, what artists drew, and whatever. Man, I mean, that's going to be the only telltale signs of something. But you know, we'll never know what happened. Really, you know.
No, I mean, unless
No,
there is,
see,
unless there's really a way
things
to
are
go
getting
back in
different
time
though.
and film it, no, we will never know.
So I kind of went with JB and with Antarctic, but with all the Bimini Road and all the new stuff they found out there,
There could be remnants of it. I mean, yeah, no
no,
problem.
but no, you got two different cities sunk in Cuba. You've got the one on the bottom right hand, if you're looking at the map directly. That's supposed to be in 50,000 feet of water.
Well, let's put it like this, Joe.
I mean, not 50,000 feet of water. It's supposed to be 50,000 years old.
If you're living on the coastal empire of Atlantis, and that continent all of a sudden shifts and starts moving at, let's say, 36 knots towards the South Pole, what do you think would happen to the coastal areas? They would probably break off, some of them.
But no, this pyramid is bigger.
included.
If you took all the pyramids on Earth and combined them, they're still not the size of this one pyramid. And they're saying it's at least 50,000 years old, which means this would have been a primary. It would have been somewhere.
And where is this pyramid?
It's right off the coast of Cuba. There's two of them.
Oh,
there's five of them altogether. So there's the one sitting on the right side of Cuba, and then there's the ones that are sitting right inside the bay, right where it cuts in on the other side of Cuba. There's another city sunken in there. And it's not just that. Lately in the Gulf of Mexico, over the last couple of decades, there's been all kind of artifacts washed up on the beach that simply are not from India, any of the South American or Mesoamerican type Indians. They're not sure where the hell it's coming from. It's definitely dated, washing up. So Cuba might have been part of it. I mean, it might have been part of the island. The whole area might have been lifted up and torn away, but it's just strange that it's still connected to the road, because now you can follow. If you go up the top of the Bimini Road and come back on the downside, it takes you to Cuba. So it's getting a little weird out there. And then, of course, there's a dumbest time. What the hell's causing that?
You're losing your mic, Joe.
Yeah, you're getting a little muddy.
Let's move it over here, baby. Get close to daddy here. It's but what is causing that? I mean, what's causing all that mayhem in the middle in the Devil's Town? I don't know. It's weird, but I wouldn't rule out anything, because after Bird said he saw what he saw, I'm not going to rule out anything at this point. That could have been the Atlanteans that he said he saw that contacted him.
He said he spoke to them, man. Like
Yes, he said
what
he
do you call
spoke
that
to
guy?
them.
The Master or something like that.
Yeah, and they were called the Aryans as well.
Yeah. So, until we actually have explored all of that stuff, I'm not going to rule anything out. It just seems like, though, to me, it feels more like a disaster for the simple fact that you've got two on completely opposing sides of the world building and moving kind of along the same. I mean, the Toltecs and the Egyptians were kind of moving along the same lines. They were building the same type of not just temples or not just pyramids, but the whole complexes. They were building basically the same design complexes.
The only difference is that some of them are more ornate, and it seems the further west you go, starting from Egypt, the more ornate they get. When you get to South America, they're very ornate. When you get to Asia, they're even more ornate, and they're larger. Even they're larger complexes.
So more than what really happened is whatever happened to this place, whether it took off or it sank or whatever it did, part of there were people out and about when it happened. There were survivors. So some of them survivors went to the Middle East, some of them went to South America, some went up to Asian areas, and that's where they settled and they lived, and that's where they helped the cultures from that point forward. And you can tell some took a little longer to get started and stuff, but it makes more sense because there's just too many things that are too similar. What's that, Gene? Well, no, okay. in all fairness, and this is something else that convinces me this was an advanced race that was telling this. The pyramids in Egypt are made out of stone blocks. The pyramids in South America are not. They're actually almost like chicken wide and then filled with rocks and then has a facade put over the top of it.
It's almost like poured concrete or poured like a paved stone kind of paver rock or brick. You can get it at any home improvement store.
No, that's how they built them. Yeah. So it was a little bit different technology. Actually, it was a little bit more advanced technology, to be honest with you. But it doesn't really matter. Both sides of the planet seem to have been moving along. They were understanding the night skies. They were making calendars. They were looking at the stars. Even though the Egyptians had a better understanding of the night sky and precession and things like that. I mean, the Egyptians mapped the planet's precession to 4%. Our best today is 2%. But I mean, do you know what kind of equipment we use to do that with? They were out there with what, a little Saxton looking thing and a stick. I mean, Jesus, that's you got to give them credit for that kind of stuff, man.
Well, I mean, but the fact is also when I've talked about this a lot. The people they attribute the building of the Egyptian pyramids to, particularly in Giza, they didn't have the proper tools, and it's a precisely made building that's aligned. I think it's only off the compass by 0.025 or something like that. A very small, minute amount, less than 1%. You can't do that without the compass. They didn't have it. How do you align a building? How do you align 3 buildings to the compass points without a compass? It cannot be done. It's against the law. And the other thing is, you also, in order to make some of those angles, particularly a triangle, which is what a pyramid basically shape is, it's a 3-dimensional triangle or 4-dimensional triangle. You have to have math that starts with 0. Their math started with 25. Again, not precise. You cannot get circles and angles and squares and any kind of rhombus without 0.
Well, they definitely had a different kind of math, and in some of Snafu's writing, they talk about some of the ways they went about it. But people forget too. So when the first 2 pyramids from what was the I think his name was Snafu. He was one of the sons of one of the other pharaohs, and he built the bent pyramid and the whatchamacallit pyramid, which was the start of the pyramid.
Saqqara, a completely different site.
Yeah, well, he didn't build them in the same site. And actually, he built 3 pyramids. He didn't just build 2; he built 3 pyramids. And the bent pyramid was just, was what it was. It was a bent pyramid. It didn't work right. Yeah. All 3 of them technically were failures.
Their math doesn't work. They tried to. They saw what they found the pyramids and they tried to recreate them, and it took them probably 50 years to get it right.
I think it took them longer than that because they built those 3 pyramids, and technically all 3. The last one wasn't a complete failure. It was just like a mini pyramid, is what it was. And then they built some quite a bit bigger, not like the grand pyramids, but some quite a bit bigger. And I think in those are the way they worked them out. I do remember one of the ways they made the blocks fit so well, and I never really thought about this. This was actually ingenious. So all you had to do, if you throw sand on 2 heavy blocks, they'll move around just by pushing it with your hand. You don't even need anything else. And well, what happens is when you keep doing that, it grinds the 2 stones smooth like sandpaper. So when you sweep out the sand, it's just 2 smooth blocks with like a 16th of a degree. That was ingenious. I don't know who told them how to do, but they've actually gone back and looked at some of the blocks. You can actually see there's like a sandpaper wearing on the bottom of them. So they may have figured that part out. How they got them there, how they lifted them up. I have no idea, but same thing with the guy in Florida. What was it called? The castle he built?
I read something about. I saw
Coral
that on
Castle.
YouTube. Yeah.
Well, some of the early theories, because we studied this in college, were that there was ramps made out of earth and dirt that they transported the blocks up to from the ground up, and this ramp, once they were done with the top of the pyramid, they unbuilt the ramp of dirt. But if they had done that, there would be, for thousands of years, even tens of thousands of years, evidence of that excavation of moving that dirt around. Others say that since we know that the river came up right in front of them, thousands, 12,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago. So we know the rocks were probably transported by the Nile right up to the building site, but how they were moved, most witnesses say that they levitated into place, like other megalithic places. Is that true? I don't know.
I've
But if
heard
you
that
were to move
myself and
those
other
rocks
things.
without levitation, you would still need the concept of the wheel. The Egyptians that built the pyramids didn't have the wheel, and you would also the wheel gives you the fulcrum, and you would need the fulcrum to leverage the blocks as a crane up onto the place.
Well, I would imagine 4 elephants could drag those around pretty easy, but
Probably, but they're not going to crane it up into place, and it's not going to be precise.
no. But if there's a ramp up there, they can pull them up there all the way.
But they
up.
had whips, big whips, and they had 50,000 slaves.
You couldn't take 10,000 men to move a 6-ton block. It would be impossible, especially
If it was like if
They
they
don't
were,
have to
yeah,
move
they
the
could
block.
roll
See,
them
they
in.
don't have to move the block. That's what I was saying earlier. First off, the elephants can pull the blocks and put in place. As long as you've got that sand on there when those blocks are pulled on there by the elephants, you can move them. Men can move them around. It won't even take that many men to move them around. So that's all stuff that we know because of things we do today. So
like a
it's not that
train.
hard.
Look at a train.
Well, through
But-
physics, we know what can and can't be done. Yes.
But you know, there's other things, you know. I mean, in the ramp system, they could have used in a lot of ways, but they
But
didn't
there's
even have
no
to use
evidence
the
of,
ramp
of
system.
earthen ramps.
But they have evidence.
Well,
of
there wouldn't be.
hydraulics.
There wouldn't be. That desert moves around too much. I've noticed that when you go look at what they would
They
consider.
wouldn't be able to build those ramps out of sand. It would have to be of some other kind of dirt.
They have evidence of hydraulics that they've used. So I mean,
Well,
I think a lot more was going
I think
on there.
that's
Than
fiction
people
too.
realize.
it would also
we
depend
know
on
the
the-
river went there, but where the rocks levitated by water, I don't. There would be evidence if they built a canal system to levitate those rocks on barges up to the top of the pyramids. There would be so much ground evidence of it. All we have of the satellite archaeology of the river is a river. No canals, no.
See, I don't think because we know there were canals. I don't think there would be any evidence because of how much that desert moves. That
Trust me,
desert,
they would, if they built a canal to
because you
flow-
know that those 2 canals they built along the edge of the Sahara, you can't do.
They
won't
said
in
it
20
was
years ago,
green
you
and
can't
plush
see them
there
today.
at
They're
one time,
gone.
though. So I mean,
And yeah, that's another thing. There might have been natural stuff there, but I can tell you down here in Louisiana, we did canals all the time and bury them, and you never knew they were there. You can't even see the one in the middle of the city we buried up. It's man, I mean, it ain't that hard to hide them.
Well, the fact is, we don't know how they were built. A, B, the Egyptians of the 4th dynasty did not build them. B, and C, we probably never will know. But going back to one of the points we were talking about earlier, with that there was a global advanced civilization here. I think that may be it's a weird segue to aliens. But I think that's one of the reasons why the aliens are here. Advancing our species because our planet may have not been part of a global or galactic war, and we were an accidental, destruction of, neutral party. So they're trying to rebuild what, mistakes they made.
Maybe we weren't the ones that were destroyed. Maybe it was Mars, and they're just using this planet.
Maybe it was the
Mars
fifth planet, because that planet is
exist.
destroyed. Regardless
does
what
not
the hurt
exist.
is, it seems that they're trying to rebuild something that was already once here.
Yeah, well, but since our biological clock is set for a different world, I'm thinking, we're a transplant to here.
Yeah, they destroyed what our civilization was on another planet, and they've moved it here on top of another civilization.
Because it's in the same solar system. We'll just move these stupid humans.
it
They'll
was
never know.
Mars. Tell them.
Mars
It
don't
was-
exist, Michael.
it was
Mars
Mars.
does not exist.
It was Mars.
Sean needs to share them good drugs with us. It's not fair that he gets the good stuff and we
Yeah.
don't. That's just not fair.
All you have to do is write me a letter and I'll send it down.
What's that, Jamie Lee? What are you talking about? Oh, Jamie Lee, you're a flat earther. Never mind. We're not even talking to you. We're moving on. What do we got up here? Saudi Arabia rejects deal with U.S. in favor of reconciliation with Israel. What kind of deal is there? Reconciliation with Israel that the United States isn't involved in? What kind of deal is that?
Ask Joe Biden.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering about that one myself. Japanese discover $26 billion treasure beneath the sea. Oh my gosh, darn. Lockheed Martin X-24C Hypersonic Mach 8 plane in 3 words. Just, I can't say the word, badass. It's 5 pardons Biden could issue. I didn't even read that because I didn't want to know.
Mach 8. When you definitely have to get there.
Yeah. Well, we know DARPA's jet does Mach 12, so I mean, it's not like it's a thing. So I don't know what's going on with that. I wonder who these 5 people are that Biden could pardon. One of them's got to be
Hunter's son.
I would hope it would be Trump.
They're all named Biden. No, everybody's dropping their suits against Trump now. It's a mass exodus. People are resigning. You know, the ones who went after, like they're resigning.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. He's already been convicted. I mean,
they're jumping ship. All the rats, you know.
But the conviction's a conviction. That'll have to be overturned or something else, and that hasn't been done yet.
And he still got elected, so good for him, man.
Yeah.
I always used to cheer.
You can bet the next time the Democrats get the House, they're going to pass a bill.
I always cheered for the Legion of Doom, man. They always seem like the happiest, fun-loving bunch. The superheroes are always like so serious. You know what I mean? Like even when they try to joke around, they weren't fun.
Yeah. So who's on Joe Biden's list first to give a pardon to?
Some rich billionaires, people who knows, child molesters like him.
But the thing about giving it to his son is he won't be through all of his trials and tribulations by then.
Yeah, but he can do the pardon, and if they get convicted, the pardon can go into effect, unless Trump goes.
No, that's not how that works. You can't do that. They tried that once before. The judge said that it's bullshit. Who's number 2? He's going to pardon.
Well, they can always retry him too at that rate. You know what I mean? So on different crimes, if they really wanted to put Hunter behind bars,
they might.
Is there any reason to? I mean, the guy's just some douche.
No, they're not going to put him in jail. But so, who y'all think is number 2? Come on, give me a number 2. Who's number 2?
I think Biden pardoned himself. He said, "Pardon me."
I don't know if he might be able to do that. I don't know. Well, number 2 is Trump. They say he should pardon Trump. Should be number 2.
Oh, this is should. I thought this is like his list.
This is Biden. If Biden was going to pardon people, he should pardon these 5 people. For some reason, I can't find 3. It just doesn't seem to be in the list. It goes from 2 to 4.
My heart's on the side of justice, so I think they should all go. No pardons for anyone.
Well, they don't go to jail like we do anyway, man. They go to some little, thing where you get conjugal visits and stuff, and chefs cooking for you.
Yeah, I would put them in a real
Julia Assange is 4th. That's who they say she should do 4th is Julia Assange.
Is he still alive? I thought he got kicked the bucket.
No, he got out. He's out of jail and on his way. And 5 should just be blanket pardons to end mass incarceration. What the? All right, who wrote this? This is from MSN. So I mean, somebody ignorant had to write this. Let me go see if we can find who the ignorant person is. Let's see. U.S. elections. We don't care about that. 5 pardons. We don't care. Oh, you're not going to put your name on this article, you coward.
No, of course not.
You coward. What a coward, man. I mean, that's just outright cowardly. Sorry, guys. My science
most of these articles are written by AI now, so it's not even like a human. It's just AI collecting information, throwing it together. Then other companies just copy it and print it too. It's crazy what's going on out there, really.
Yeah,
it's a shame. We're seeing. I mean, we're seeing like the beginning of the end when it comes to everything, free speech or anything like that. I mean, privacy, like virtually gone. I mean, I like that Australia made the move where they're banning anyone 16 and under 16 anyway, of viewing social media, being part of social media. I think that is very healthy, for kids not to be part of it.
That's kind of sad though, because it was originally intended to be a good educational tool. I mean, the first transmission that we call an email now was transmitted from, I think, a California college to Princeton in New Jersey. So, I mean, that in 1958, that's an amazing feat to do what they did. There were no home computers at that point.
Well, things have been manipulated, and now you see what's going on out there. Now it's affected, children's mental health, and then the phone has become part of their personality, which is crazy. So I think that people need to really, the parents need to take up and say, okay, we're not going to have this for the kids. The peer pressure on the kids, though, is incredible, because when they get on the bus and all their friends have the iPhone 12, 15, whatever they got, then they need to have it. And then it's a whole thing about class.
The wheels on the bus go round and round.
So it's back in the day, the kids that used to have the A&P was a supermarket, locally. And then kids that have like they sold sneakers for like $1, So the kids with A&P sneakers were poor kids, and everybody knew that. And they'd make fun of them. Hey, you got A&P sneakers, ha ha ha, or whatever. And you have your Adidas or your Reeboks or whatever.
Keds.
You know what I mean?
Remember the Keds?
Yep, I remember it from back in the day. It's
I started off in Buster Brown's, man. That was the store we used to go to when I was like really
Yeah,
young.
I remember Buster Brown's. We used to get those.
This Voyager is alive again. So this thing is 47 years old. I think it was supposed to last 4 years.
I know,
It's
it was launched when I was a
47
kid, man. It was a big deal.
This is Voyager 1, and it went dark, and then it came back, then it went dark, and they thought it was dead. And all of a sudden, it's working again. I'd like to know who these aliens are that keep fixing all of our space stuff.
You have to go talk to
some
your boy
alien geek.
Elon.
I was
Talk
like,
to Elon, buddy.
Like, I'm going to fix this thing
It
again.
might be Elon. Elon be flying around all over the place. What we got here? What? Oh, wait. What is this one? 5 Chinese and 6 Russian aircraft enter Cats without notice. So they're flying in this right on the edge of South Korean airspace. Not actually in it, but right on the edge of it. With 11 bombers. Man, they should have sent up some F-35s. Did you really want to play with us? Come on, we got something for you.
Who's flying bombers now?
This is Russians and Chinese flying together.
At us or just in general?
They were flying along the South Korean thing. This is part of their things they fly around and do like now. But they fly along Alaska all the time. Just the U.S. don't put up with it. We sent fighters out there, and that's what they did. They sent fighters up. And they said, you want to play? We'll send some F-35s. Y'all can play with this. Your little raggedy plane.
Just turn a laser on and bake them. They can bake them like bread.
See, we talked about the X-24. Now, this is the X-44 manned stealth fighter.
My God, how many planes are they going to make, man? How
They make a lot until they know which one they want.
F-16.
And this is different now. Some of these planes are going to go into space and stuff. This is new technologies coming out now. This is a whole new kind of world from the one we used to live in.
I got my F-16s and I got my A-10 Hornet, man. You can't sell me. Everything else to me is a helicopter that like the ones that I like. You know what I mean? That are awesome, but like the A-10 Warthog, oh my God.
It's still a
did
beast.
they have A-10 Warthogs over in Vietnam?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that plane's been around for a long time. You can't shoot them down. It's made of stuff where that they just keep taking all the shots in there. The motor, the motor never takes a hit. I mean, they're amazing, those things, man. And they got that 30 millimeter cannon on the front.
Yeah, we got to get out of here pretty soon ourselves.
People said the enemy would hear the cannon and they would run for their lives, even if they heard it in the distance.
Right.
They were like,
we're gonna play this one little promo and then we're out of here. Let's see, where is it? Let me get over here. Let me find us. Let me get out of here.
Hey, we should go to Hollywood and be in that parade, man. Kind of.
Oh, he would love it. John would love it.
The Dukes of Hazzard car. We could drive that thing through the.
Yeah, I would love that. Or the Mad Max car. That would be awesome.
Okay, is this the one we want? Yeah, this is okay. This is a video on this X-44 Manta. So we're gonna play this up for
This
the
is the one
world.
that looks like the Roswell craft. Yes. Yeah.
Is that the one with $6 million man crashing?
No, but you know what? They got one that looks like that. It's they got one that looks just like that damn thing. Actually, hold on, let me turn this on here.
The one he crashed in was a Bell Laboratories device.
How come they don't have the $6 billion man now? How come they can't remake?
They're
the
supposed
series?
to do, yeah, with Marky Mark.
Oh God, not that dude.
Mark Wahlberg, yes.
Ugh.
Oh,
No.
man.
Mark Wahlberg as Steve Austin.
No.
Yeah, no, that's what I said.
All right. Anyway, here we go.
Have you ever imagined a wingless, tailless stealth aircraft completely invisible to radar? A secret weapon that could change the entire landscape of aerial warfare? Today, we'll dive into the X-40 for Manta, a mysterious project by the United States Air Force and NASA. Is this the future of fighter jet technology, or just a distant dream? The
What happened to
X-40
the
for Manta
Aurora?
is one of the most ambitious projects of the U.S. Air Force and NASA, initiated in the 1990s. The X-44 was a collaboration between NASA and Lockheed Martin to develop the next generation stealth fighter jet. Instead of using a traditional tail design, the Manta features a flying wing shape, reducing radar reflection and enhancing stealth capabilities. But what made them choose this path? Many analysts believe that the X-40 for Manta was the answer to future needs, a fighter jet capable of flying farther, faster, and without being easily detected by modern air defense systems. But it's not just about stealth, it's about optimizing control through groundbreaking technologies. Unlike current fighter jets, the Manta doesn't use tail fins for control. Instead, it relies on thrust vectoring, a technology that allows the aircraft to control its flight direction by changing the direction of the engine's thrust. This gives the
That was my
X-40 for
move when I
superior
got to third
maneuverability
base.
under
Thrust
all flight
vectoring.
conditions, from supersonic to low-speed flight. Thrust
like, what do
vectoring
you call it?
technology not only makes the
Thrust
Manta more agile, but also reduces its detectability. Combined with advanced stealth materials and high-altitude capabilities, the Manta is nearly invisible to the most sophisticated enemy radar systems.
This music is
The
rude.
X-40 for Manta utilizes a flying wing design without the traditional tail, which significantly reduces its radar signature. Normally, a plane's tail plays an important role in controlling and maintaining stability, but it also increases radar reflection. By eliminating the tail, the X-44 minimizes the surface area that radar can detect, offering optimal stealth capabilities. Instead of relying on a tail, the X-44 uses thrust vectoring technology to control its flight direction. This is one of the most advanced technologies in aviation, allowing the aircraft to adjust its direction by changing the angle of the exhaust stream from the engines. This provides several major benefits, such as increased maneuverability. This technology enables the aircraft to perform more complex and agile maneuvers, even without a tail. Thrust vectoring engines can adjust their angle, allowing the jet to change direction quickly in three-dimensional space. Optimized performance at various speeds, from supersonic to low-speed flight. The X-44 can maintain stability without depending on traditional aerodynamic design. Beyond the flying
was
wing
lasers?
design and thrust vectoring, the
I don't wanna
X-40
see
for
this
Manta
now.
is
I'm
also
ducking out.
made from
I'm going to
advanced
bed.
stealth materials. These materials absorb radar waves rather than reflecting them
Alright,
back,
let's get this
making the
outta here.
aircraft nearly
This is,
invisible
like,
to radar
horrible.
systems. When combined with high-altitude flying capabilities,
It's like a
the
horrible
X-44 becomes even
AI
harder.
video of like nothing. Oh my god.
Damn,
I'm tired of
man.
the guy saying thrust vectoring. He can go after himself.
No, this is this is one thing you always know about the military. They never put anything out until they've already got something.
It's all like concept cars. It's all bullshit. You know what it is? Drones is the new future, and they'll fly 1,000 drones or something and blow it up. I mean, you know, and look at the Ukrainian war. Look at all those $1 million missiles that Russia rained down on them. Didn't even blow up 10, 15 people. You know, you would think that has taken out the big chunks of their civilization. It really hasn't at all. and it's very costly. So, I mean, I think that's proven a lot. But thrust vectoring, that's why I tell girls, you know, at third base, it's called thrust vectoring.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we
I'm
have thrust
studying to be a
vectoring
pilot.
technologies already, man.
We call this
All
thrust vectoring.
This isn't something new. This is stuff from technology.
When
we
I
already-
put down my landing gear.
Oh, my
we,
God.
we got to get out of here. Though.
Yeah, I
Ladies and
think
gentlemen,
somebody needs to get to sleep.
Yeah.
I hope everyone enjoyed the
If
show.
I was a pirate, I'd be telling them about my poop deck.
Any moans, groans, bitches, complaints, right to Michael Angley.
Yes.
Courtesy of Michelle DeRoche. You know, she always likes to be informed on everything. But no, we really got to get out of here. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Remember, next week, don't forget, it's not religious show. It's Jesus the Man, people. Okay.
Historical Jesus, not the mythological.
Bring your facts with you, and then we'll go from there. We'll see
You
what
gotta
the show
talk about
goes.
his brother Thomas also. His twin.
Talk about his brother Joseph,
Twin.
man.
Yeah, his twin brother Thomas. I mean, that's actually, he was a disciple, you know.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't talk about him, but Thomas
I
actually
do.
means twin.
I do.
But anyway, on that note, guys and girls, be ready for that show next week. That will be next Friday night. What was I carrying? Oh, Joe Davis will be back in January. Well, we're in Christmas month now, so we're not going to be talking about the stuff we've been talking about with him, but he'll be back in January. I already talked to Carmen about it the other day. Yes.
What happened to Ben, man? Is Ben still on the network?
I haven't talked to him lately. No, I don't know what he's been doing. He's been he was having some probing issues with extraterrestrials, and I haven't seen him since. Yeah. You know, he might have went the other way. But anyway, ladies, we got to get out
use
of here.
that KY, man. Would change your whole relationship.
It helps out. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to United Public Radio News on the Flip Side. You're here with Joe, Mike, Sean, and Jay, or Jay, Joe, Mike, Sean, or whatever the hell, how you ever want to look at it. On that note, good night, and stay tuned for Spaced Out Radio with Dave, the Dave Man, Scott. Good night, guys.
Good night, guys.
Good night. Good night.